Silver Isles.
Can you spell that name for me?
Sure.
No.
Wow, already forgotten and you've worked for her.
Well, it is a very long name.
He arrives and it's like, I will be your ally if you can spell my name.
Oh god.
The best scholars in the kingdom slave away for days.
Amunis with his 8 intelligence.
Yes.
Never won the Empire spelling bee.
I like the idea of just Anna being put onto a spelling bee. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh.
You're investigating some kind of magical crypt, some kind of like magical like lab or crypt she has. You must spell her name to unlock the door.
Oh shit.
Don't give him puzzles, you just break everything.
I mean, that's how I solved that like annihilation orb thing in the tower. I sort of walked in and broke it.
I mean, the good news, you had enough resistance to handle that.
Yes. Who needs brains when you have enough just rage and violence in your heart?
Who needs brains when you've got violence in your heart?
Exactly.
I love that.
My new family motto.
Well, we'll get it on a plaque
Family of
for you.
1 or 2, I guess.
2.
You have your sister.
Yes.
Is your sister full of rage?
We don't know much about her really. She's kind of sort of far away.
Oh.
It's been so long.
Yeah.
I feel like she's full of rage. I'm getting Azula vibes.
So many drinks.
I'm getting Azula vibes, let's be real.
Yeah, she's gearing up to fight the elves again, or whatever it is in the south, right?
Blood elves, yeah. I think that invasion's already begun, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's where most of the attention is down south.
That's why we're not getting murdered.
Yay!
Yeah.
Speaking of murder.
Yes, speaking of murder. Yes, for your group, you know imminently that the Duchess is about to arrive.
Where will she arrive from?
She will be arriving by boat.
By boat, alright.
Onto your northern shore, which does not really have a fully maintained dock, but you did at least, the group did at least pay to clear out the roads. So at least you've got a clear road.
It might be a pain in the ass to actually, like, anchor in port, like, tie up, but she'll be able to get a carriage part of the way down the road.
Yeah, Tauren definitely intends to be there when she arrives.
Yes,
and make sure that she is not accosted on the road or anything. That would be embarrassing.
Yes, this brings up some important points, which is basically arranging her visit. As we go through, we'll cover a few kind of key moments throughout her visit, and basically you as a party can just tell me exactly how you might prepare for that. How you might have prepared for it. So, for example, okay, you know when she's going to arrive. So, are you going? So it sounds like we're going to have at least the captain of the guard to meet there. Are you going to have like multiple guard there, like a little like procession waiting for her?
It'll be like Tauren and 3 of the guards he is known to, be both disciplined and capable. Definitely intending to make a good first impression, polished armor and discipline and all that. And he'll basically maybe briefly introduce himself, but his main intention is to stick very close to the Duchess just to make sure that if anything happens, he's right there to intervene.
And someone mentioned Carriage.
And I would just say, I mean, she also knows Tauren, so it might be, nice for her to have someone close by that she has done business with before, I'm thinking.
Yeah, sounds good. I think you can handle it just fine.
Does she know Tauren?
I mean, you worked for her,
You
right?
worked for her.
Briefly.
Right?
It's the same Duchess whose ball you attended and you met the party at.
Oh, it's her. All right, yeah, sure.
And she was like, "I like you, by the way," or "He's good at his job."
The one who gave you the armor as well.
So
I
what
thought it was a
duchess did you
different
think we were talking about?
There are many duchies, all right?
It's true, there are many duchies, but currently there is
true.
only one important duchess for this current scenario.
Yeah, it's the one we went to the ball for, which was your previous employer for a bit.
That's perfect, then, yeah.
Yes, instead of crossing the mountain, she's taking the easier route of just, I'll go by water. There's not really too many like easy passageways from your area to like everything by land yet. Obviously, you can open up more roads in time, though.
All in due time.
For the peasants to deal with.
But very well.
Vickers is getting real cynical about the peasantry in his old age.
Oh man, yeah.
These fucking
Some
peasants.
shift in demeanor.
Oh no, he's had a stroke.
Oh god.
It is a rather cold day when the Duchess is scheduled to arrive. The troops with you, maybe not the happiest that they're being told to stand waiting for the ship to arrive, but they are disciplined enough under your command to, well, suck it up. Obviously, Torin himself does not care about the cold. Which makes it easy enough. At some point in the early afternoon, when suddenly, just off from around the kind of frosted cliff sides, you can make out in the distance approaching a small group of 3 rather large ships, 2 of which appear to be heavily gunned warships, and one of which appears to be a very fancy-looking ship, which there's no doubt that's some kind of transport or merchant ship. Slowly begin to make its way into the crumbled hub. Is it only Torin going to be meeting at the hub?
I feel like Sarah should be there.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a pretty.
I think Vickers would probably be staying home and make sure there's no nefarious under elements trying to do something while she's here.
Batten down those hatches.
Yeah.
So Ceres and Torin then, the dock. The large vessels all come to quickly moor in the dock after only a few minutes. There isn't true docking, but they can, to the best of their ability, anchor up out in the destroyed port. As smaller boats are then sent out to deliver their crew to land. Obviously not the greatest thing, but on the other hand, you haven't had very long to build a port. So not a lot you could have done.
Yeah, she gave us like how long? 10 days or something?
Yeah, not a great amount of time.
Yeah, so.
As a small group of rowboats all makes it up to land, sorry. And stepping off of it are a few individuals. The first one you recognize, the fair-skinned, dark-haired, half-elven Duchess. Adessia stepping out onto the shore as regally as you'd normally as she tried to always exude, dressed in a fine winter coat. She also has a rather old-looking man in the boat with her as well. Old, greying hair, mostly bald, kind of fluffy beard, and robed. He very much does not appear to have much of a presence to him, but he's there regardless. As he slowly kind of wobbles to his feet with a walking stick and steps out to follow her. There is also from two of the other rowboats, a number of clearly her personal guard as well. Not a lot, but probably makes up about six or seven that seem to be following her off the boat. But the remainder will remain here to guard their ship. As the Duchess and the rather old individual will approach the welcoming party.
I just to say, I assume this is sort of self-evident, but we have, of course, cleaned up the city and everything in it as much as we possibly could. Like, there's no vagrants are shuffled away somewhere. There is flags. There's children with flowers in their hair. Stuff like that.
I mean, we'll get to that, but that's good to know.
Yes. Maybe we have a banner, a banner. What do you call him? A banner dude. Standard bearer. Yes, that's the word. Maybe we have a standard bearer out there to meet up with the sigil of the of the city and us, standing respectfully behind, Ceres and Torin, presumably. Maybe that's Arkland or someone out there holding that.
I believe he's been currently sent away on the mission.
Oh, yes, that's right. They're out training in the mountain. Oh, well.
As Odessia approaches, she looks over the small welcoming group with an amused expression for a moment.
Ceres will, of course, just greet her. Perhaps a bit too bubbly. I think Ceres is in spring, so she's in a very good mood.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, so I suppose Ceres will go up to her and say, welcome, Duchess, to our humble port that sadly needs a lot more renovation. And I welcome all of your retinue.
I'm used to the chill, but this place, it's quite a bite to it up here, isn't there?
Oh, it will certainly bite without the right protection.
Despite her saying that, she looks absolutely fine. Her retinue does not look happy.
Are we
She looks fine.
surprised? Are we surprised? I don't think we're surprised.
It also looks like the old man with her does not seem to care at all.
Yeah, so Ceres will have a look at the old man. Does she recognize him? No, at all.
I've definitely never met him.
He looks like a wizard.
He's old, whoever he is, very humbly dressed.
Well, shall we go to a city that's pre-warmed?
Well, I suppose it'd be better than standing out here all day. What do you think, boys? The guards seem to vigorously nod.
And Torin, throughout this interaction, just sort of hovers nearby, statue like he's a guard. He's not here to make conversation unless spoken to.
So, I understand, of course, Ambassador. But what title should I be referring to my good friend with? As she looks over at the Dragonborn.
Ceres will say, this is Marshal Torin. Hi, Marshal? Marshal? Can never remember.
What? The Warden.
Warden, even?
Warden of the North.
It's so hot. Yeah, this is Warden Torin. Now.
You've already begun to move up then. Good on you.
I have. It is enjoyable to have a purpose again.
I'm glad I didn't pick. I'm glad I didn't choose badly sending you this way. Come, we can speak. We can speak more in the carriage.
And away we go.
Yes, she will go on the road and make idle chit chat to both of you as she rides the carriage through the forests towards the city. The road has already been cleared out, and with the additional guard postings from Torin, the road appears smooth. Nothing seemed to accost you, not even wild animals.
At this point, I think only the giants would cause this issue.
The old man has joined you in the carriage as well at her behest, though he's not really spoken so far. He's just kind of sitting there. The Duchess just makes idle conversation with you both, just asking, how how is running your own territories treating you?
So nice, awkward conversation.
Yes.
Nice.
That kind of awkward light chatter of just small talk.
Yeah.
How's the weather? Frozen.
It never changes. Just frozen.
Just making chat until she can actually see the destination. But that does then bring up as she begins to approach the city itself. And what preparations have been made at the city when they see the Duchess's caravan and her standard moving towards the city? Jonas, you said clearing the streets of vagrants and similar.
Yes. The city probably don't have too many vagrants and such, but we have definitely polished this up to the best of our abilities. I think Amanas would have ordered, just a general cleaning up, and assumed that Torin knows what that means. It seems like a martial person who can interpret such orders. Flags, maybe there'll be some what do we call it, citizens of the city out and about. All of them, of course, in clean and right clothes and everything. Maybe a few kids with some flowers to strew before her, stuff like that.
Has Amnos been enforcing order for all this?
Yes. He would definitely have enforced order, or at least told Torin to do so. Although he would assume that Torin realizes that is what he should do.
It's just obviously since Torin has also been waiting for the boat as well, of course. But Amnos could of course make his presence known to the people.
He might have, if there is like a balcony or something in Sorkai that sort of overlooks a bit of the town, he might have indeed stand out there imperiously gazing down.
There's basically a tower. There's basically a tower that kind of overlooks one of the plaza areas, so you could have stood on that.
Yeah, probably stood there a little bit on the parapets, and then when he sees the banner start moving towards the city, he will make his way back to the palace because he needs to receive her in the throne room. But yeah, otherwise, banners, some flowers cleaned up, swept it from as much snow and other debris as possible, and then just basically make a very nice, clean way moving towards the palace. The rest of the city can be a bit, decrepit, but the things you're going to see immediately needs to be very nice.
A valid point also to bring up for the group is obviously part of it is she's also getting to see your city for the first time. Do you want her to just directly beeline straight to the palace, or is there any site in the city you want to show her on the way through?
I feel like showing her the spire would be a great idea, right?
I think that's where Vickers can kind of like have his role here, in that he can he can see like Torn's plans for the guards or whatever, where they need to be stationed, and Vickers can kind of plan a route where she would see the most she wants to see, but also it would be the safest for her because, I mean, she is a duchess. We don't want random people coming up running at her. So he's basically going to be on like protection detail, like Torn is, but more like in the shadows, like not visible. And I agree. I think we should get her to see a bit more of the sights than just straight to the throne room.
Then the question basically becomes: is there any particular point of the city you want to kind of emphasize? Not emphasize, put emphasis on. So it could be the magical power of the spire, the historical relics of the old like temple museum, the church.
I mean, I guess temple would be like meeting after. We could something like go to the spire, and then go through the new temple night class, and then back here.
See, I agree with that, but I'm also thinking something along the lines of
You feel free to draw a route, of course.
yeah, I'm trying to remember how we draw. But
Pencil tool, and there should be like a wiggly line one.
pencil tool.
Okay, I just drew a ray. That's not.
I don't.
Not
assume
blast.
I don't know if you have access to drawing.
Yeah, I don't think we've got access to drawing.
Mission.
But I'm thinking obviously.
Use drawing tools. All players. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh,
scribble line. All right, so I'm thinking through here.
Wait, I don't see a line. I guess
Once he releases, it will show.
What I say? Pow.
Oh yeah. I was thinking that too.
Avoid the brothel.
Avoid the preacher.
Do we want her to pass the explosive
workshop?
manufacturer though?
We
What
just
if it
tell
explodes?
Penelope. We just tell her to behave. Just tell Persephone to behave. Like
Turn
Persephone,
off.
just turn everything off. I swear to God, if you blow up the Duchess, you are being sold.
She turns everything off, and that's what sets everything off.
That's what does it.
No.
We flick the big switch and everything explodes in our face.
Out
So-
of curiosity,
as-
where was the brothel?
The brothel is located here.
Okay, keep her away from that.
That's
a
what
good
I'm
route.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So we keep
that's a
her
good
as
route.
far away from the brothel as possible.
So she'll go past the Dwarven Embassy and the noble quarters, as well as the kind of high end artificing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
And
she
she
needs
can
to see
s-
what value she can get from this. So we'll
Yeah.
show her our highest value that we have,
Our
which is
highest
this.
goods, yeah. And of
Past
course, we go past the statue of Lord Zeal. You know.
Can we take that away? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's
still
over
there.
here.
and then kind of pass up the kind of busier side street with showing many of a lot of the kind of central infrastructure over here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Vickers is tailing them the entire time just to make sure no crazy
Just-
preacher or no crazy person comes out to try and attack her.
Okay.
Because while Torrin is no doubt able to defend her, it's the optics of it, right? We don't want her to get attacked in the first place. So
No, anyone moves, you just assassinate them.
not the best.
Would you, if you want, you could also assign the royal enforcer to ensure the crowd behaves.
I suppose, but
If you were that
I
paranoid.
don't think we need to worry about the crowd. I think we need to
No.
worry about the market and shady stuff later.
yeah, that's basically what Vegas is focusing on. The crowd itself should be fine.
Okay.
We've got enough we don't have enough unrest that I think is going to be an issue, so should be
Yeah,
grand.
we should be fine. People are generally pretty happy, and there's no known enemies of her here that I have heard of. I'll be very surprised.
Most of their enemies are other people of Duchess level or Duke level or higher.
And we think she's a dragon anyway, so be fine.
She can probably
Defend
protect herself
herself.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, she-
someone closer at least.
Yeah, she
Mage
she
boy, yeah.
Yeah, she enjoys making enemies though of people who are too big for their breeches.
Well, let's make sure we fit ours perfectly.
My breeches are well filled, let me tell you.
Not
Okay.
overfilled.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem actually.
But the carriage will arrive, and the Duchess does seem
Why undo this?
at least mildly impressed based on her initial expression change, going from kind of having either a conversation to just kind of staring as she kind of sees the city itself for the first time.
That's good.
Her eyes seem to dart along, clearly like looking at the runes on the outside of the city walls.
Yeah.
It's got her attention.
I mean, we're still deciphering it, so she'd have a job doing it.
It also appears to
pass.
have got the attention of her companion with her as well. The old man also appears to be actually paying close attention to the walls.
I think only the active runes are the heating ones at the moment, so I don't know how well he can see all the defensive stuff.
Can't see like most of the inactive ones you can't really make out too well, but she can still make out there are runes, and especially the heating ones.
Yeah. The heating ones we activated so we could actually be here, but we've got all those defensive runes that we've just not powered yet. Lack
Need a
of
bigger battery.
crystal.
Until now.
I mean, if you wanted them temporarily running, you could expend some of the mana to do that.
Now, Vicus, activate the Doom Spire.
Our Persephone hit it.
That shield for the Death Star just appears over.
I'm sorry.
Fire at will, Commander. Just get the beam hits the Duchess.
I'm sorry. Your planetary death beam is not yet finished construction.
Damn. Almost.
Damn it.
Is on the confirm that she's a dragon.
Nor do you currently have enough mana stored up to be able to fire that beam.
Yeah.
Seems good.
But
Seems
the
like a good one.
But the carriage enters into the city, and well, she does not see the sight of a bunch of unruly folks outside the front, trying to do protection money on people. That's cleared
good.
up.
Yep.
As the carriage begins to make its way in, veering away from the markets and towards your finer high-end districts.
Yep.
It does appear that people from the Dwarven Embassy have also taken note of this event, as there are several of the Dwarven guards standing essentially in parade formation on their side of the road as the Duchess goes past.
Oh, how lovely.
Though if that's just because they want to improve their own relations with her is a different question. Still, looks good for you. As you assessed, your general populace appears to be in good spirits, and they don't seem to be causing you any particular issue as it moves through. Though there are definitely some of the peasantry who definitely seem to ooh and ah at like, wait, isn't like she really important?
That's okay.
That's natural. It's fine too.
Yeah, there should be some oohing and awing.
You should be in awe. That's fine.
Yeah. So she feels important.
The Duchess is clearly quite used to this kind of situation though, and she kind of does like that very well practiced noble wave as she just goes past.
Mm.
She knows her imagery. You just seem to take note as she moves past the various districts, past the halls of justice, and past the great spire, which also again seems to get her attention. There is a bit of an odd smell around Persephone's workshop.
Persephone, I swear.
There is no explosions or anything similar, however. Persephone apparently has closed the shop for the day.
Good girl, honestly.
It's like halon gas, you know, the like chemical that takes out fire chemically. Just snuffs out all oxygen.
If we were informed about that, I could do something about that. Technically.
It's not that important.
I mean, if you wanted to do something about it, you could have. You were aware this was going to happen.
I mean, I can hide the smell in an illusion, like in the near area.
I don't think is needed. It's okay. She can be like, "Oh, that's a weird shop. I wonder what that's about."
Sure.
But as long as she doesn't see anything too weird.
That's what the king orders.
Exactly.
It appears the gentleman who was with her appears to take note of the smell though, and for the first you kind of hear him speak almost for the first time, idly commenting on the sulfury smell. Not in a disliked way, but in more of a, it's weird.
Say if he liked it, it's probably a devil.
From what you can tell, it appears to be mostly a look of recognition, though. He might even recognize some of the chemical smells.
What
He's an
is he?
alchemist.
An alchemist, a wizard?
He's everything.
Wizard alchemist.
Some kind of scholar would probably be correct.
A scholar. I don't trust him.
Don't trust scholars.
The spire, of course, is kind of the main sight line. You can see this from miles around the city as the spire, but seeing it up close, it definitely gives a sense of grandeur.
That's nice.
You know, you stand at the base of it, you kind of have to crane your head up to try and see the top of it.
Sure.
She doesn't seem to take note as it goes past. She also takes note as it kind of trails along past this point here, as you can see out over the pond. Of course, Sheila, the Lady of Crimson Flames, currently preaching up there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
That's
the weird
fine. At a
cultist.
distance.
She even appears to have a couple of townsfolk in there currently listening to her sermon.
I hope
have
that's not going to turn into a weird cult.
I really hope.
I mean, we
don't
have
get a
someone
cult.
on her to check, so
That's true.
well, no. But we give people a chance, and if they waste that chance, then
Then we put them in a
There's no
room and
mercy.
fireball it. Yeah.
As of course the characters on par, she then also takes note of the rather grandiose statue of his lordship.
it was gifted. It wasn't made.
Harbor monument to the statue.
Yeah, we have to like explain that as we go past. No, don't worry. He's not so like big-headed that he made that commissioned. No, that was just put there one day.
The love of the people, made
The
it.
love. I'm sure she'll 100% buy that.
I mean, you're telling the truth, so
It wasn't
You're just
love
not
of the people
explaining
though,
it.
was it? It wasn't love
I
of
mean,
the
it's the
people.
love of some people.
I mean,
Love
thieves
of
and
some-
rogues are people. They are people, you know.
Yeah, they are people, and they had some love and passion in the craft. So
Uh-huh. Thieves and beggars are people too. Alright.
now. Inside voice.
Call
Inside.
them entrepreneurs.
She'll still take note of the statue as you go past, even with her explanations.
I mean, sure.
I mean, yeah, if she asks questions, you know, I'm sure we can give like basic answers, stuff, you know.
Yeah, there's occasional points as she goes past where, of course, she has asked a few questions of just questioning, you know, what certain things are. When you went past the Elven Museum, for example. Well, museum. It's ruins mostly, but kind of a museum.
If you slap a label on some ruins and call it a museum, it's a museum.
Yep.
Cultural heritage.
Cultural heritage, yeah.
Heritage site.
So
Of course, you had passed Torrin's Hall of Justice as well.
Yeah.
Is that what it says, like on the plaque
Torrance Hall
outside?
of Justice.
The Torrance Halls of
Probably doesn't. I don't imagine Torrin's put his name on it. But
No, it probably doesn't have a sign at all. It's about the reputation of the place. It doesn't need a sign. Like that is where justice happens. Everyone knows that.
It's
You don't
just a
you
door.
don't exactly need to label the courthouse. The courthouse kind of speaks for itself.
It's
So,
like-
or,
it's
Like
like,
black gates and
Oh.
No, it should be like a sign with a dragon called the Scales of Justice.
I actually really like that. We should do
I mean, if that's the branding the group wants to go for, they can.
that. That is some great branding.
You'd have some branding meetings.
Think of the PR.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you head past the temple, orphanage, and kind of more administrative functions of the city. Including a number of the guards who, Torin is fairly sure are supposed to be off duty right now. It appears that your second in command, Sergeant Arena Harris, has gotten many of them to basically stand in parade formation outside the barracks as you go past.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
On the one hand, commendable. On the other hand, she will get reprimanded of not having ran that by Torrent first.
I like that Torn is channeling Redger from Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I appreciate this.
She has everyone well disciplined at least, so that's
Yeah.
commendable. And she'll make her way into the palace kind of courtyard without really too much issue.
That's good.
From Vicus's point of view, he didn't really need to do too much. He kept a strong eye out.
Yeah.
But no one seemed to make a move.
That's good. I mean, who knows? Maybe his presence deterred them by itself.
Yes, you're not-
Who can say?
You can't 100% guarantee nothing was planned, but at least you didn't see anything happen, and nothing seemed to have happened. So
Yeah, that's how
if
the
you
world
scared it
works.
off, it's good enough.
Yep. That's
As
good.
she makes her way into the palace, as the carriage pulls up. I presume you'll then lead her inside to meet with Lordship.
Yes, I would assume so.
Will you be addressing her in your throne room?
We'll receive her in the throne room, yes.
Okay. Of course, you're free to receive her anywhere you want on palace grounds, but you can receive her in the throne room.
Yes.
Is the throne room the room that we fought? What's her face in?
No.
No, that's like a
The room you fought that before was essentially a
room.
Oh, is it the room that we got fireballed in? Ah,
room.
I think
Luckily
that's a
died a few
different
times.
one. I think that's a different one.
Well,
All right.
You did fight in the throne room. I don't remember exactly what you fought in the room now. There probably was fireballs though.
I think it was like that crystal we had to deactivate. I think that's where we got it.
Yes, it was because you had to destroy the crystal
Yeah.
powering the wards.
Yeah.
so-
That was what it was. So that was the room we got fireballed to near death in. Yeah.
Yeah, Luck nearly died twice in that room. So
Yeah. He did. Got PTSD every time he walks.
Yeah, the room that you fought the witch in was more like a parliamentary hall. It was meant to be. Is a large kind of chamber where you can seat many people. This is great if you ever want to just make speeches indoors. Or just address a lot of people.
Oh, yes.
But yes, you can meet her in your throne room.
Yes. Throne room, as has been described before, bedecked in different types of trophies, like from our many vanquishes. Like, there's head of monsters and stuff in there we have killed so far.
We're going for a very military theme.
Yes, of course. Of course.
I mean,
Definitely a militaristic theme to it.
Amanas is probably dressed in his full plate still, right? So
Oh, yes.
of course it's
It
militaristic.
is polished to a sheen.
Yeah.
You can see your reflection and eat off that full plate.
I see.
His great sword, Solseer, is leaned, against the throne. He doesn't carry it. He's not armed per such, just armored. The cloak, the magical cloak he wears, slung elegantly over one shoulder in a nice, sort of sideways festooning. He's wearing his crown with the was it like an agate or like a citrine or something that he got from the from cleansing the dwarven forge set in the middle of it. And all the guards, in here, dressed in their parade armor, and yeah, he is sitting on the throne as she would enter.
I think once Vickers has noticed that the carriage is pulled into like the courtyard to the like main area, I think he'd probably circle around and also be there at Amanus's side, standing
He
beside him on the throne room.
materializes out of the shadow of the throne. He just steps out.
It's,
My lord.
it's surprisingly common practice for court spy masters.
Yep.
See a gnarled hand from around the side of the throne as he steps out.
It's a necessary talent he must develop.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Man, sometimes I really wish that I was playing the wizened old necromancer to be on the other side.
It's a great character to play. All right. Well,
Next time.
as she enters,
I've got one quick administrative note as she enters.
mhm,
Obviously, she has some of her guard with her.
yes,
She's not going to march her entire guard into your throne room, of course.
of course not.
She-
They get stationed in the barrack.
Very well. Do you request her or her companion disarm, or do you let them keep their equipment?
No, they can
No,
get
they
the
can keep
equipment.
it.
It's fine.
I think we can fucking take them.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe they're all
Hands-on,
dragons.
Oh,
If we're going to accost them or accuse them, the fact that we let them in armed means that we're not trying to like spring this on them, right? So if we're like, no, all your weapons gone. Oh, by the way, we think you're a dragon, then she might feel threatened. So
Amanus shouts, "Get them!" and then charges.
he said it earlier today, and I was like, no, that's
Yeah,
not.
you looked at me it's like, "Do not do that." I'm like, "No,
Yes.
I won't."
As the Duchess comes inside, she does remove kind of her winter cloak, and beneath it she has a simple but clearly quite expensive noble gown, noble dress. But she also has at her side what is very clearly an enchanted longsword,
Yeah.
as well as what's also very clearly an enchanted arcane focus.
All right.
She's stacked up.
Her companion also appears to have a magic stave with him.
That makes sense.
How cool is that
Well-
magic stave?
As she walks in, the guards, heavily armed and polished up parade guards along the sides of the walls, will raise their weapons in salute as she walks in. And as she comes, closer to the throne, and Amanus's 2 and 3 advisors. 4. Yeah,
I presume everyone will be in attendance for this.
four advisors,
Yep.
flank him on the lower steps of the throne. And she comes closer. Amanus will rise up from the throne, and he will, take a half step down from the throne, spreading his hands, his gauntleted hands, in a welcoming gesture. And he will say, "Duchess Idessa Morgrave Thorf, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the court of Sorakai."
I feel very welcomed. You even had people out on the docks waiting for me.
Certainly, Duchess. You are a valued guest at our city and should be treated as such. He will do throw a glance at some page boy or servant or something who would rush over. Maybe maybe to offer her to take her coat. Just general a little bit of doting on her, as she would walk closer. And
Doing a half bow, though clearly his back won't allow it. It's also the elderly individual behind her.
Mm-hmm.
May I also introduce my vassal, Count Eisenbarrow. He is your neighbour on my northern border.
You
over
pop
the
that in
map.
chat. Can you pop his name in? Can you pop his name?
If you go
in
to the
chat?
political map, you will see he controls the region of Melrock with the candle on it.
Okay.
Oh, that one. Sure.
Okay, no, we can't.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right. What's the
Melrock.
spelling for his name, Doc?
You can find it on his token now if you scroll over it.
Ah.
Fair enough.
Okay. Right beside us.
Right.
Right now, of course, there is no good land crossing there unless you want to just venture through mountains. But he's still technically your neighbour. You share a mountain range with him.
Oh yes, the mountain, the valuable mountain range. Amanaz will nod in satisfaction, and he will say, Duchess, I hope that the trip here was uneventful and boring. He smiles slightly. I
Well,
realize
It was largely uneventful, yes. Though I did run across a couple of sea beasts, but my problem, not yours.
he smiles. I am gratified to see that you have made your way through it unscathed. Now, I believe the trip here has been long and arduous, no doubt. My suggestion, therefore, is that we allow you to visit your guest quarters. Perhaps rest up a little bit from the trip, and that we join for a proper dinner and festivities as soon as you are ready for. We have wonderfully appointed rooms here for such events.
She smiles warmly to that. That would sound wonderful.
He nods, and then he'll make the sign for the servants to gather them up and show them the way.
You did recently upgrade your upgrade one of the locations to be an emissary guest house.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's my whole idea. Let's have that go.
As there are luxurious rooms designed for noble dignitaries to relax in.
Yes, indeed.
Gotta give her the best room.
Of course.
Including having also Sarah's office nearby to handle any diplomatic matters.
Obviously.
Yeah. No, she gets the best room, of course, and her granddad can get the room next to her, or a few rooms down, or something, to mark the difference in stature.
I mean, he's your neighbor. He's the technically same status as you.
Excuse me.
Recognized.
Wow.
Unofficially, you.
As
Wow.
As far as your title on the grand stage currently goes, you're both only of count rank.
Yeah, obviously you're the king, but I'm just saying.
You currently don't have enough land
mind.
to actually call a king yet.
Yes.
Just saying, Amanas, you are technically a king, but fuck you, you're not.
Wow.
I mean, if we're going by CK terms, he could be petty king, but
That's true.
Oh,
It could
wow.
be a petty king.
I'll
Lots
show
of
you
those
petty
around.
king.
that sounds petty enough for me.
It does sound really petty.
As
They bring it on, but you're safe.
the Duchess will certainly take will certainly take a little bit of time to rest in the emissaries areas and freshen up after such a long trip.
Yeah, that's my thought. There's no need to go into hard negotiations the first thing we do. We'll
She's been traveling for several days on a boat. She deserves a chance to rest.
exactly. Yeah, I do assume that we have a big dining room for such.
Yes.
Uh,
You have all the standard amenities you can imagine from a kind of from a palace mansion kind of situation.
yeah.
That's what the central building is. It's not a fortified location, but it's a very fancier situation.
Sure.
It's got all the amenities of a mansion. Thankfully, the city itself is kind of a fort. So, so certainly you can prepare You can prepare a meal. Obviously, you can prepare a decent meal no matter what. You've got supplies that are around. You can go overly extravagant if you want to break the bank with it, but that depends on if you want to break the bank.
No,
Yeah,
we don't
buddy.
we don't necessarily need to break the bank, I think. Do we?
I mean, I think part of the meal should be like entertainment, which like Seal can do.
Ooh, that
sounds
slightly
good.
entertaining.
Yeah, I like that.
So we don't have to pay, but we can elevate it through.
We have
Really,
You
uh,
know, you
we
get
have a bard, so I mean,
yeah, we have a super skilled bard here. I mean, that's perfect.
perfect.
light songs and illusions.
That is a completely valid thing, which is certainly, if you so wish, you could potentially make a skill check to elevate the quality of this. Elevate the quality of this
Yeah,
dinner.
I can. Do you want it now?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do it now, which will do kind of representing your preparations for it.
I don't have anything. Anything. Decent.
It's pretty good.
I like that. What's that image?
Oh!
I haven't seen many performances. So.
Oh,
I guess this is the first time like, see Seal performs. Like it's a song, but the main thing is the illusion that she like makes around her and tells a story of like a. I guess tells like a story of a dragonoid, dragonborn making a painting. You know, bit of a sassy story, just like the picture earlier.
Sure.
Mixing
like kind of like a Mona Lisa theme in there.
Sure, the
That's like-
Dragonborn and the case of the mysterious painting.
Yes.
yeah.
You know, I'm willing to save that theme. You can go ahead and also give yourself advantage on that previous roll.
Oh, sweet.
Hey, that's really good.
Turns out, this is gonna be quite a good quality.
Yeah.
Yay.
And you picked a theme that matches her interests.
And ours.
She's not that yet.
Well, you know, the hint of mystery or something.
Yeah.
Very well. Is there any other preparations in particular you would like to do for the dinner, or is it simply proceeding?
I think that's good. I think that was.
Very well.
I assume that we will probably only have us and her and the count in attendance and nobody else.
No, nobody else.
Nobody else. Yeah.
I think to spice it up and make it a bit exotic, we'll use ingredients from the area here. I assume, like, I don't know, wild game, berries, fish, maybe.
Maybe we could have asked the
Wood elves.
the wood
they
elves to
have
maybe get
any-
something really.
That's exactly what I'm thinking we might have done. We might have asked our new ally Chiefess Kiran for some good cut
game
of
or
that
something.
hunting they're doing.
Yeah.
Given you gave her such favorable you gave her such a favorable agreement with this, Dr. Crown will be happy to support your diplomatic efforts and will provide you all with what is impressively one of the largest and most succulent boars that you've ever seen hunted.
Oh, beautiful.
We got to spit roast
That's,
that motherfucker in the middle of the hall,
That
right?
is
Such vulgar language.
Vulgar. Vickers loves it, really.
Get a
don't
few
be.
glass of wine in Sarah's and she starts cursing like a sailor.
Well, she got it from someone, you know.
Yeah.
The wood elves, given that most of the wood elves, they are used to hunting and foraging as their main method of food. They are good at it, very good at it.
Maybe they can also supply some exotic spices or something that they use. Who knows?
They have some, though. The question really becomes: do you have anyone suitable for preparing that? You don't really have like a proper royal chef or anything at the moment.
I can't
That's a
even
new
imagine
position on the
Makara's
council.
good
It's
at
the
it.
royal chef.
That would be more of a retainer position than a council.
Yeah.
Like master of the household.
Who could
We'll
we
find one.
even ask? I mean,
You still of course have chef. You just don't have like an expert.
we need an expert chef.
We'll be on the lookout.
Oh,
It's fine. The
Are
boar is so
failing.
awesome.
A lady, Lady Eliza would also request if she could be in attendance for this.
Lady Eliza, I mean, to be honest,
She is our vassal, so
it makes sense, right?
it makes sense. That seems fair. Sure.
It just complicates the matter.
It does a little bit, yes.
So
You can, of course, deny the request.
No,
yeah,
no,
but
it's
I mean,
fine.
it's already complicated that the count is here, so it doesn't really make it much more complicated if Eliza was
Yeah.
there.
I think
It's
of all
the
the
fact
people
that
we
if
can trust
either of them
Eliza.
were present, it'd be awkward. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
Torin, lock the count in his room. Do not let him out.
The man needs to eat.
I mean, you could try to sabotage the count.
no,
Put
that's
a black
Uh,
flag over his head.
he's
and
an
no.
lock
old
him up.
man. Leave him alone. Jesus Christ.
Oh, fine.
Elderly abuse.
Oh, fine.
Elderly abuse.
Oh.
All right. Well, we have some fish, local vegetables, and the most awesome boar anyone has ever seen in their lives.
Is Torin joining for dinner, or is he just being guard?
He's welcome to join.
Yes, he should. Suggested that he should.
I think he should. Yeah.
Even though Torin may not necessarily want to be a guest. But very well, and we have CL leading performances.
You're muted, she, by the way, if you didn't know.
What? I think I was distracted.
Is Torin actually sitting down for dinner, or is Torin purely going to try and be guard?
No, Torrent's at work. He's not going to eat.
All right. So you're not gonna be here at all.
He's going to be present in the room, but like in a corner, looking all, you know.
Okay, so you are on guard duty then, just in the
He's
corner.
being security.
All right.
Still looking very stern.
Oh.
All right. Well,
It's a very nice boar that you've got,
yes, thanks.
and it is a wonderful performance you've got.
Thanks for noticing. We've tried.
The Duchess seems impressed, if nothing else.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Just
It's
quickly,
clear that you've put effort into this.
before I suppose before we enter the room, Vicus is going to get the old secret talk box going. Let's see, how many people do we have here?
Many.
Does Eliza? I can't remember if Eliza was fine with it or not.
She was.
Okay.
You did it with her before during some of the retaking of Freyfrost.
Indeed. I would ask her permission first, of course, but I would include Eliza, Amanus, and Ceres. Can I only do 3? It's per proficiency, yeah. So that's, I guess, unfortunately, that's as much as I can get. So
You can,
Eliza, Amanus, and Ceres.
it's a really interesting time, I imagine, connecting to both Eliza and Amanus. Just the fact of like Eliza's kind of, you almost sense from Eliza like a very strong kind of like moral compass, almost beaming over.
Yeah, it's a weird like juxtaposition.
And there's just Amanus is like kind of gruff darkness on the other end.
Yeah. Amanas is all.
But once Vicus sees that, you know, that we've eaten the food, we've had the performance, and we're actually getting into the proper serious talk, he'll pop this. So we'll have 2 hours.
The meal itself seems to go without much of a hitch. The Duchess and the Count both seem to enjoy the meal and the entertainment.
All right.
As a Duchess, we'll also try to have small talk with everyone around the tables. See whatever just by asking all the generic kind of small talk things, but also clearly also trying to get an idea of roughly how well your kingdom is doing.
Of course.
Your realm.
Yeah, I think we try to sell it in from as best we can, but not necessarily lying. You know what I mean?
Persuasive, not deceptive.
Yeah.
Anyone around the dining table may give me a perception roll, persuasion roll.
What?
Yeah. We are several experts at this.
Are we persuading? What?
We're persuading.
All right.
Let me see. Can we use like a bardic inspiration from Seal since she's performing?
Sure, you can.
There's no problem with that for me.
Am I rolling? What's going on?
Let me see who's the best.
There's body
Converter.
conversion.
I've got a +7 to persuasion.
I probably have something similar.
think
Have
you
I changed
probably
the
have the same.
font in
You have the exact same.
Yeah, we have the same.
I mean, if you
Um,
both assist each other, one of you can get advantage.
I think on this like sort of small talk stuff, I think definitely Ceres is the one taking the lead, but maybe I can assist since we're,
That's fine. You're all
Bouncing
around the
off
dining
each
room, and
other.
some questions are being fired at Amanus.
Yeah.
So advantage then +7.
Advantage and +7.
Oh,
A nat 20, then a nat 1. Amazing. So 34 on a persuasion.
What?
34.
What a
Yikes.
juxtaposition on dice rolls, though.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She is about to like flip the entire like soup terrine into the Duchess's face,
He's like,
But-
by the way, I'm a dragon. Oops, I mean.
but Torin just manages to catch it, and then disaster's averted. And instead, an incredibly interesting story.
Torin saves today again.
Yeah. But does anyone thank him? No.
He doesn't need thanks. He knows when he's done a good job.
His
Duty is its
duty
own
is his
It is nice having
Exactly.
having a position, a person of order within this absolutely chaotic group we have here.
Chaos is
Alright.
my nature, you know this by now.
I know.
Incredible.
Ceres lays on the kind of tales and really sells the city in a way that, well, any PR executive would be blown away by it. It even appears to get a few quiet nods and kind of a beard scratch from the count.
He has woken up as well.
Give him
Who's
more
taking a
wine.
nap? Yeah.
Keep Vickers, you have one mission: is to fill that human wine constantly.
Normally we watered down the wine for older people like that. Here we boiled it down to concentrate it. So.
Yeah, we
27%
Made it right, Bina.
add some whiskey into it just to kick it up.
Now 27% proof, and he's off his rocker.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're gonna have to set up a grave outside.
It's really good wine. Oh.
It feels good. To have chat. It feels good to have chats like this around the table. Don't you all agree? We didn't really have much of a chance during my ball. So many people, so many visitors.
Amnas will nod and say, "It was a very interesting, I should say, almost performance at your estate, Duchess. I have seen many things in my life, but I have never seen something quite as enchanted in all the meanings of the word as your how was it called? It was called like the Feast of Moonlight or something like that. Well, her festival.
God, I don't know. Some madness.
Remember, right? It had like a specific
Had a
name.
really specific name. Hang
Yeah.
It was the Silver Moon Ball.
on. Silver Moon Ball.
Silver
that was
Moon
it.
Ball. Yes, yes.
I got it in my notes, but my notes are so big now. I just. Oh.
The Duchess smiles as she takes a sip from her wine glass. Then I did my job well. It's supposed to be something memorable, something that can't be replicated by anyone else.
He nods and says, "And I believe you succeeded quite admirably. And I dare say that we also succeeded on our part. Otherwise, you would not be here joining us for dinner, I should think."
You left an impression with my court. I had many members of staff relay messages back to me about all that you'd achieved. Quite interesting, actually. I was particularly curious by one tale of some of your court apparently dancing on my ceiling.
Did you see Vickers look at CO?
Because Seal goes dance in the ceiling. Spins and
Oh.
spins and spins.
Amanas, a slight wry smile, and it says, "Yes, something of a speciality of some of my my council." speak, as
It seems we both have eclectic courts of our own.
he nods and says, I am a man of fairly straightforward interests, Duchess, and my tactic is to solve things in the most expedient manner possible. As such, I focus mainly on collecting people and retainers that impress me as well. People that I believe can get the job done, and as they don't need to be nobles, is what I'm trying to say. And some of our status surround themselves just with breeding yes men and the like. I prefer to have someone who can get the job done.
It's such a tiresome environment being surrounded by pompous nobles who know nothing but drinking wine and not actually doing anything.
He nods. And I do believe that the retaking and reestablishing of Sorakai and what we have accomplished in Freyfrost, he nods respectfully to Lady Eliza, does show that we have quite the potential to actually get things done.
I do also appreciate you embarrassing several of those yes men nobles in my court.
Amanas smiles.
Some are particularly embarrassed to have got beaten by you during the war games, given they usually win every time.
Amanas nods. He is pleased. He's pleased by that. Definitely for sure. Amanas will take another bite of the boar. So if anyone else of his fellow counselors will want to jump in, they are free to do so while he eats a boar.
I'm looking at the count because he's like a new element, right? We weren't, I guess I wouldn't say warned, but we weren't told of his arrival, right? She kind of just brought him with her. If I
Correct.
unless I forgot.
She never specified, though she is within full right to bring a +1 most of the time.
Of course. But Vicus's attention is mostly on him to kind of see his demeanor, and kind of check him out because again, new person, potential new threat in Vicus's eyes. His work is never done, as much as this is a relaxing environment. So, I guess he's trying to get a general gauge on like how the count acts. So maybe insight, I suppose.
You can give me an insight roll. That's fine.
He's not the best, but he's proficient. So, 22.
It's odd. He almost seems distracted during like a lot of this.
Huh.
He doesn't really engage in much talk and almost seems to play the role of like the old man falling asleep, which you think is partially true, but not entirely. Part of it also seems like he's concentrating, like in the back of his mind. Clearly, there's something going on.
I see.
Though he is obviously paying attention to the conversations the best he can while doing that. But he doesn't seem too interested in the general chit-chat.
I see. Well, actually, if Vicus notices that, he's gonna try and engage him in conversation, to see if like try and pull himself out of that distraction and see how he deals with it. So Vicus will look across the table and say, "So, my good count, we haven't had much of an introduction. Perhaps you could introduce yourselves to us."
I am Count Eisenbarrow, first of my line. I, as you understand, run the nearby, the Earldom of Milrock. I like to think of myself as a bit of a historian.
Do you have any particular time period of expertise then, given your background in history?
My specialty is in the ancient Galaic Empire, one The one that predated what we now have here.
Does Vicus know anything about it?
You can roll a history check.
I can try. I'm proficient, but we'll see.
I'm curious if Ceres has any
24.
idea. To be honest.
Vickers definitely knows something.
Where's my history?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Ceres has heard of it, at least.
I'll
What
take
Vickers
that.
would know of ancient Galaic Empire, it was, to your understanding, a powerful empire run by a humanoid, but not human species. That predated what we would now think of as the Radiant Empire, and hell, even predated what we would now think as Meribin.
Okay. And they held like everything, or
They roughly had holdings throughout most of the continent.
and
Though
what
it's not
happened
entirely
to
clear what happened with them.
them?
From your best understanding, they were around,
Okay.
and at some point, most evidence of them just seemed to have disappeared. A lot of their more important holdings and more important assets got taken by the High Elves.
I see.
Theorized possibly how they got a head start in magic, in the arcane arts above everyone.
Well, given
They're
Vicus
very
knows-
old at this point, thousands of years at least.
Yeah. So given Vicus's kind of brief knowledge, he'll basically mention that as context and ask the Count, does he have his own theories on, why they kind of fell off?
The Garian Empire did have many connections and affinities to water in their manuscripts. I theorize they may have gone somewhere else, another continent perhaps. Or perhaps decided to take refuge, though I cannot fathom why, elsewhere in the cosmos. They certainly have the magic for it. There are many theories. There are many theories going on around them.
Hmm.
I simply try to record what I can.
I see. Well, perhaps we have some text here that may be of use.
I think one of the more fascinating areas. He seems to continue now you've got him started.
Sure, let's engage in a conversation. Does he seem any less distracted, or does he seem the same?
He looks more alert than before, though you still see brief moments where he pauses for a second, like he's concentrating on something, and continues.
He's doing something, but I can't. This is the extent of what I can figure out. So he'll point that out telepathically to everyone he's connected to. So Eliza, Amnes, and Ceres.
And Ceres try determine what's going on with the man.
He's clearly concentrating on something. From what Vicus seems to insight. I mean, if you're suddenly breaking away from a conversation to kind of concentrate on something, you're clearly doing something.
Yeah.
And magic is a thing. So maybe Sarah's can figure it out better.
I mean,
Could be as simple as him sending messages to the Duchess.
can Ceres do that? See if she can tell what he's doing, what he's focusing on.
There's no telltale obvious signs you can just pick up from the air. Nothing obvious. He's not doing anything overt.
Right.
Vickers, you have Theo. Oh, Theo's not here, is he?
He's not here. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, he can't see. Yeah, I
The
know.
timing. Ugh.
Well, regardless, at least we know he's doing something. It might not be dangerous.
The ancient Garaeans had such a broad wealth of knowledge. By some accounts, there's even tales of them apparently finding ways to make mana crystals without having to mine them from the earth. They simply made them. Concentrated them out of the ether. I find it hard to believe personally, but the records seem to speak of it.
Interesting. I might ask, actually. It might be a bit blunt, so forgive me. But you mentioned you were the first of your line, so how did you come to, well, either found or take over Melrick?
I have served as my duchess's sage for many years. And when there was a vacancy among one of her realms needing a new ruler, she decided to install me.
I
The
see.
Duchess smiles. I, too, like rewarding those who have been useful. He may not have been of noble birth, but does not stop me granting him land.
We share the same ideology. It is competence that marks reward, not status.
Status may get me to listen to someone, but only long enough that I can chuck them back at the door again.
But better than I ever could. Gotcha.
You know, I must say, this boar is quite delicious. Didn't know they got so big around here. The ones in my land are never this big.
Yeah. So, I mean, as we'll lean forward and say, would you please tell us something of Melrock? You are our neighbors, but since we have not been here for too long, I'm afraid I know scant little.
Look. Well, the city of Melrock it's an old town built upon old dwarven ruins. You can still see much of it there, which I greatly appreciate, actually. Being able to study the old architecture has been fascinating. Moreover, the dwarves themselves build remarkably sturdy strongholds. It largely overlooks the cliff sides of a very stony moor. We function as a good port up here in the northern reaches. I must admit, trade-wise, our economy has not been the best of late. We get along well with fishing, but as I'm sure you're well aware, these northern territories they're not the most fertile of land.
Yeah, I mean, that's nods.
We have found quite the plentiful reserve, however, on our side of the mountain, of various metals.
Oh. Well, in that case, such an alliance as we are here to broker would be beneficial perhaps for both of us. It just so happens that we are in the process of reactivating the magical forge atop the arcane spire. And I believe that we will soon be interested in purchasing all manner of interesting metals from you.
I'll keep that in mind. We do know that underneath our territory does happen to lie some mithril veins.
I'm gonna quirks an eyebrow.
It's been taking some time to reaccess them. The caves collapsed, but the dwarves left us good markings where to go. And the few dwarven prospectors we've managed to acquire have done great work so far. Adesia also seems to perk up, though. An arcane forge like that, if it belongs to... She ends up using the actual like elven word for the high elves at this point.
Oh.
Oh wow, fancy.
It's
Fancy.
that is certainly quite the prize you've got up there if you can get it working.
Well, thankfully for us, we have a. Then Ceres will join her in the elven word for high elves, with us. That should know exactly how they work and how to get them working.
Those old forges were powerful. If you knew how to use them, you could almost mass produce certain low-level stuff. If you needed to.
Certainly, it means to tip the scales, so to say.
Possibly, yes. It takes a lot of mana to do so, but, well, it's certainly faster than hand enchanting. This definitely seems to have her attention quite strongly.
Yes. Amnas will dive in on that and says, speaking of enchantments, we did witness some incredible, impressive work at your mansion, Duchess. Am I to understand that you have woven these spells yourselves, or have you perhaps have most of the help from your wise sage, indicates Count Eisen?
Count Eisen helped me develop the spells, but the actual casting for the festivities was my duty. I had some members of my court assist in putting up a few extra wards around the place, but the grand illusion you saw me weave, as well as the protective shell against intrusion, that was work of my design.
As nods in respect.
It's quite the potent spell. It takes a lot out of me, though.
He will say, I am far from an arcane scholar. I leave that to my sage, Mistress Ceres. He indicates Ceres. And one of my new hires, Zeal, points at the dancing and the ceiling. But even I must confess that it is incredibly impressive work. Your spell casting prowess must be well, short of legendary, Duchess.
Oh, you flatter me. I am highly proficient, but well, there's always room to improve.
Have we like the scale of the stuff she wove, right? It's something we could not reproduce that even with Makara, right? We couldn't do anything like that.
I think we determined that we could do it, but it wouldn't be easy.
It would not be easy. Makara could probably pull it off with enough time.
Yeah. It would take a hot minute for Makara to manage it.
Yeah, it would Makara certainly thinks casting such a thing would definitely be on like be pushing her skills. So if it pushed the Duchess as well, they're probably on a similar playing field power-wise.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's pretty powerful. I mean,
Yes, it is.
At least in terms of raw spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I think Amanas will keep keep talking a little bit along these lines. Definitely trying to hint that once the forge has been restored, or the process of them, he would be amenable to maybe have allies of his order things, made to order, or work in the forge themselves, perhaps, if that was an interest. Just trying to tempt, since that had her attention. Just trying to tempt her a little bit.
It does definitely seem to keep her attention. Perhaps as such an arcane practitioner herself, such a enchanter is, well, you'd say it's a valuable asset.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be kind of unique, I feel.
There aren't very many like that are in good condition.
For these southern nations, at least, I think, especially rare, right?
Yeah. Like you can. There's a couple of enchanters like that have been found, but they're pretty far and few between.
Well, we know what we're doing after this anyway.
Oh yeah. It's been a siren song for many weeks now.
They are as she's mentioned, they're expensive. They're expensive power-wise to run, but very valuable.
You know, maybe if we offer her like production slots in it, maybe she will be amenable to sponsor some of the finances of keeping it running.
Perhaps. I mean, as a macro question here, unless anyone has anything else to ask or say, shall we fast forward to the actual like negotiation? Because I feel like this has been like buttering up here.
There's been buttering up. There has also been useful trade of information still.
Oh, definitely.
My plan is to try to have a very nice dinner with negotiations and stuff, and then afterwards, maybe Amanas will suggest that the Duchess and him retreat to one of the the private library for some just one-on-one talk, away from all of these
Peasants. Yeah.
all of these
I can hear your thoughts.
associates. Yeah, so I'm not gonna say peasant, but
You're gonna think it.
She.
Servants.
Are you? So you're trying to entitle like a one-on-one situation then.
that would be the end goal for me. We might want to do like the negotiation stuff also around the table here, just in front of all the advisors to have it above board. But I think the dragon accusation / reveal is gonna come in private.
Okay. Yes, the main dinner then can wrap up with everyone sufficiently stuffed with boar and wine.
Oh yes.
It does appear the large amount of alcohol you've been serving Count Eisen has been making the concentration harder of whatever he's doing.
There's a little small smile.
Just
on Mika's hair.
struggling so hard, old man.
Look, I want to see you concentrate on a spell while you're drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Hey, look, if he's concentrating on a spell in our presence, to Vicus, that's kind of rude. So he's
It
going to make
is.
it as difficult as possible for him to do so. Of
It is a little bit rude.
course, he's trying to keep it like secret, but it's quite clear now. So
Mhm.
As the kind of everything comes to the end, the Duchess politely excuses herself that she'll just need a little bit of time back in her quarters before you go to negotiation.
Of course.
The Count says he's going to go lay down.
of course.
Oh,
The Count will not be joining you for the negotiation phase.
fair enough.
Fair enough.
He is sufficiently sloshed. Not too difficult, admittedly.
Bit of a lush.
Look,
Can't say no.
Look, old man Khan, you kept serving him drinks. He doesn't.
Mhm.
He kind of just kept drinking them.
Ceres was ever so sweet to him.
No, we might as well butter up those negotiations for later.
No, for sure.
It may also help that Vickers got him started on some of the history topics.
On history, yeah. When you apply someone with their passion, I mean, how can they not resist?
Yeah, apply with passion and then keep filling
drink
the
it.
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they talk so much, they're thirsty. So
Exactly.
drink more.
And also, since he was already concentrating, it's kind of hard for him to keep pacing himself properly.
Yeah, exactly. Poor man.
You can only split your brain so many ways.
Oh, Vicus knows.
He has to constantly deal with everyone talking in his head.
Yeah, the crosstalk is it's to the point where Vicus, like, that's why he can't connect to too many people, is he has to learn to deal with the additional crosstalk. It's
Sure.
a nightmare, but he's used to it now.
Plus the emotional feedback you keep getting from everyone.
Yeah, it's a mess. But his mind is pretty good bastion. So
I like the idea. One of the reasons you like connecting to Amulus is just his emotions are always just they're generally quite flat unless it turns to anger.
Just a flat growl.
pretty nice baseline, yeah.
It's that white noise from the TV.
I'd imagine that Ceres is like
She's in spring right now, so
yeah, it depends on what like form she's in. So he's never really like used to it because it constantly
he
changes. So
can't
he's
get
like,
used to
oh,
it.
okay, here we go again.
Ceres is always in flux.
But then
Yeah.
when it hits winter, he's like, oh no. Oh.
Yeah.
Eliza is always like righteous passion.
Yeah, the as you said before, like the paradox of Amanus and Eliza is really messing him up slightly. He's constantly having to check himself. It's distracting.
Just beware, if it's ever Amulus that turns to righteous passion, you know someone's about to get smited.
Exactly. Yeah, he has to. That's why he's like so worried all the time because he feels righteous passion. He's like, oh shit, Amanus is about to kill someone. It's like, oh no, it's Eliza. It's fine.
When the party has finished up, you'll have the chance to sit down with the Duchess over the map and begin to discuss the actual terms of your possible alliance.
Yes.
I presume everyone will be present for that.
Yes.
Would you like the other advisors of the council to be with you or not?
I think so. I think, well, we sort of outgun her a little bit.
I feel like,
I don't know if
yeah.
that would be rude or not, but
I feel like that might be a little rude. I mean, we already outgun her like by a lot. I feel like just surrounding her by our whole coalition of advisors might put her on too much of a back foot, you know.
Maybe I don't know if Lady Eliza is happy just being with the dinner and she will retire here, or if she wants to be part of like this negotiation part as well.
She will leave that up to her liege's discretion.
Well, in that case, she has the liege's leave for the evening. But we might want to bring in Dame Rochelle, as she is the penny pincher.
She's your treasurer for your realm.
Yes, exactly, and having her mercantile mind here might be a good idea.
Okay.
That's one thing.
She will also request that she can summon that one of her guardsmen from the barracks as one of them have additional military knowledge for her.
No, we have
Torin
for military knowledge.
Actually, wants to summon it as military advisor to her.
All right.
Oh, sure. That's
No, I can do that.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
Torin does that. It's fine.
She will not accept Torin as her military advisor.
Now listen here. I think.
Make very good, educated guesses about what might be good for you.
Yes. I have some suggestions.
I mean, you can give suggestions, but you know,
Of course.
No, that's perfectly fine.
she's not bringing the entire range to you, just one person. So
Yeah, I mean, Amanas will start the negotiations by basically saying that we are a admittedly small currently, but aggressively ambitious and expanding operation. In relatively short time, we have shook up the status quo up here quite a bit. He will also say that we are moving with purpose, and the purpose is to establish a counterweight to the just corrupt noble regime of the capital. In extension, we plan to move on Count Alcend, who by all accounts seems to be, I mean, at best, he is an aloof and slightly, he's ignorant to his people's plights and desires. He leaves his own, cousin to fend for himself or harasses him in Reichhold, more or less. He gathers like all the magic and all the power he can, just concentrated in his own like magic tower. He doesn't seem to do anything else while his land is just in fallow, and that is unacceptable. And given the track record that we have had with our actions so far, we have beaten odds and come out triumphant quite a bit. Betting on us would seem like her best move, really, if she's interested in stirring things up as well, which by all accounts that is her main goal.
the Duchess listens to you kind of lay this out on the table, standing over the map.
Yep.
There is an amused expression the whole time, and she seems just slowly nod along, listen to what you're saying as she looks to the map. I'm going to let you know now, Torin. There's a look you haven't quite seen from her, which is an interesting one. Almost a look of excitement, but a much almost like power hungry one for a brief moment that appears.
Greedy. I mean, sort of gotta be as like a ruler, you know? Like that's not a trait that seems unusual.
No.
But it does make a difference. It's different from her normal expression. Yes, yes, a seemingly a female-clad knight seems to join you in the for the negotiation.
Yep, that's fine.
Switches back to the political map. Well, I can't switch it back, technically that's the default map at the moment, but she will muse as you lay this out. Well, our interests do align. Somewhat. You may have heard correctly. I am not the greatest fan of good Dukar sense. And his land would be quite nice and quite valuable, in fact. To whoever gets it.
Yeah, Amanas looks at her intently.
Yeah.
I did suspect that you'd be gunning for the Duke, which is largely why I agreed to this.
He seems rather unpopular. He seems rather uninterested in actual ruling of his lands. And quite frankly, he is in our way, on our way south. Both politically and geographically. And so he needs to be handled somehow.
To my understanding, the countess, or soon-to-be countess I met, should technically be one of his.
Nods. She has switched to a liege lord that is interested in actually ruling and what is best for his vassal.
That's not going to make him too happy. She seems rather amused by that fact, she considers.
He nods and says, I have not made my moves by accounting for what makes Duke Alcend happy.
No, I applaud you. Annoy him all you want.
It's not as like the good Duke has even thought of other people's happiness, has he? I mean, even his own cousin.
Oh, he rarely does. The games we've been playing over Reichhold have been rather hilarious.
We have talked with the ruler of Reichhold. He is most displeased.
Oh, I imagine.
Alcend also let a marauding band of religious fanatics burn half the countryside of Freyfro.
I heard about those.
Yes.
He sponsored them directly?
He
sent a portion of his own forces to be inquisitorial forces. Not only paying them, but sending his own people, his own levies.
He needs to be removed.
Agreed. So I was just contemplating my frustration over him using the Inquisition that way. I dislike the Inquisition to begin with on principle, but using it that way is just extra frustrating.
Amanas leans forward a little bit towards her and says, now, you said that our goals align somewhat. I must then ask you, Duchess, what are your other goals? We have made ours quite plain, I believe, but yours are still obscure. And I would like to know who I am dealing with once Duke Alcend is gone.
Hmm. It's a fair point. Thing is, now I have not been the most satisfied under the rule of the crown, if you may or may not have been able to tell.
He nods. That much is clear.
The authoritarian rule of, well, all of the Radiant Realm, between its religious enforcement of its doctrine, to the strong hold it tries to have over all of us, the disapproval of the arcane arts, unless it benefits them personally. I could go on and on. This is not a situation that I have been too keen with for a while. Moreover, I firmly disagree with many of the war efforts they've been conducting with both Meyribin as well as the more recent ones in the south.
Agreed.
It's foolhardy and stuck in the past.
So much that they like to wage war against Meyrabin and some already bloodied Blood Elves, but they seem to ignore the rising threat of a horde of orcs on one of their borders.
The orcs are well checkpointed. They won't break through easily. So as far as they're concerned, they're someone else's problem.
Someone else's problem until that someone else is no longer there. Short-sightedness.
Grunts at the mention of the orcs being someone else's problem.
It can only be someone else's problem for so long.
What I have been wanting for the longest time is to put myself into a position where not only can I simply wave the Radiant Throne goodbye, but also, well, leave them aching for my departure. Because they won't change, and if they're not going to change, then I see no reason to support their efforts. Well, everyone must change. Time moves on.
Amos nods slightly and says, yes, I am quite familiar with change myself. I am much more now than I was. And it is that change I wish to bring to the Empire at large.
Admittedly, I was caught quite off guard seeing a preacher from someone quite far away from what I could tell, out in your city. In the heartlands down south, she would have been arrested already.
We try to have a more of an
Practical approach.
that. No.
We have given her a chance, and if she seeks to use that for good, then that is good. If she seeks to use it to harm, then we will act appropriately. We're not one to shun people without cause, or for their very existence.
We are all a group of individuals who believe in second chances. We have all risen above something, overcome something to be here today. And I think that is what makes us uniquely positioned to do something in effect change for real in the Empire. Most of the nobles inherited titles. I certainly did. But like me, they don't know what to do with it. Just drink it away, gamble away, or sleep it away as best they can. What happened to me should have killed me, but it did not. It shook me to my very core instead, and gave me a determination I have not felt before in my life. suddenly I know what I must do. I have a goal, my mission is clear, and I have a second chance. If that chance is from the heavens or simple blind luck, does not matter to me. I must do what I can with what I have been given and what I create for myself. The same goes for all the people in my inner circle. They have also been given a second chance or made one for themselves.
Certainly a mindset so detached from the lords of the south. I made a good choice.
He nods and says, I assume then that we can count on your support when we start to move against Alcent. Lady Eliza will declare her fealty to me at her coronation in, well, not too long in the future. When that happens, we believe that all hell might break loose from the south. But to be fair, I'm unsure exactly how he will react.
The marshal she brought in will suddenly speak up, clearing her throat. Based on our intelligence, the Duke of Alcend is very likely to actually start, to my understanding, has already been raising an army.
That's odds slightly. So he knows or he suspects?
He suspects something is up. And apparently also has not taken too keenly to a new political player on the northern border. So regardless of where Eliza lies herself, I believe the Count who plans to take your realms by force if you do not submit to him.
Then we made the right decision in choosing for ourselves not to choose to soften the blow politically.
Sorry, the Count or the Duke?
Sorry, the Duke
Okay.
plans to.
I was going to say, have we misread something?
The Duke will plan to take your realms by force, one way or another.
I mean, good luck to him. Fighting up to Sorkai, that'll be bloody.
We'll give him a fight, that's for sure.
The Duchess seems rather amused as her marshal speaks. You know, though, I think this works as a perfect opportunity for us. She kind of looks to Amaneth. I see two ways of this going. We could back you at the coronation. There's no way he would attack you if we were standing by your side.
Nods.
He's ambitious, but he knows for a fact that he can't take on both my army and whatever you have. That's part of our issue. We are roughly evenly matched. He has a stronger base force than me, but he's fully aware that all the free companies of Alexia will come to my aid if I call on them.
I'm gonna nod and says, I might also recommend a certain dwarven mercenary group that we have quite use for in the past.
The Shatter Shields, I assume?
Nods, yes.
I've never hired them before, but I'll keep them in mind.
We also have the advantage of some horrific territory terrain to be fighting through.
That you do. But I see an interesting alternative plan. If I chose not to back you during the formal event and simply sat on the sidelines, he will likely go forth with his invasion as planned. To what horror and surprise would he run across then for when he arrives, to then find one of my armies sitting beside yours when it's too late to turn back? If we could get him to declare war, it'll make your lives much easier if you want to take his territory.
Nods.
And we will need to make sure that he is not aware of that fact.
Of course, whatever armies meet his army will be met with a hellfire of every mage he can pull out.
You think he would commit all of his spellcasters to the field immediately?
No, but whoever is on the front line is certainly going to feel the wrath of all the magic he's built up.
Hey, Shadow Shields, come back. We have a mission for you.
Well, I mean, the dwarves will be perfect. They're naturally
Yeah,
resistant.
they're resistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, resistant to magic. So they seem to be excellent mage killers.
You do recall, Amnes, you were mentioning about my various spells that I had woven.
He nods, yes.
Theoretically, if we could pull this off correctly, warding your army with a temporary barrier against the initial mage assault.
Agnes nods and says that would be quite beneficial, yes.
It should make that first strike, well, hands down a victory on your side.
Amanas has something wolf-like in his eyes. He likes the blitz. He likes to just rush in and murder things.
In theory, we could do this, I believe. It's expensive to create such a barrier over an army, but we have the resources for it. My understanding, you're already mining additional mana crystals.
Yes, the mining efforts are ongoing. We are trying to secure more areas as well.
They're of decent quality. I could certainly use it to at least ward against the initial few strikes, yes.
Well, you have a bunny-shaped one that was excavated from our lands.
Yes, but only slightly more than that one.
Well, obviously.
I also appreciate this alternative because if you did declare earlier allegiance with us, it is hard to determine how he will act towards two adversaries rather than one.
I imagine he'd go on the defensive, assuming we're going to attack him.
That would make it much harder, as you've already planned out.
And politically, attacking him puts us as the bad guys.
Indeed.
And the faster we can take him out, the less likely it is for the throne in the south to actually notice what's happening.
They might even think that the Duke will have it in hand and take us out for them.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, if I was to assist you in this war, then comes down the unenviable conversation of land and title.
Amnas looks at her and just says, "Yes, state your demands."
Obviously, I had originally intended that I would have quite liked to have access to the Duke's own mage towers as part of my own collection. His greatest spire now set in Altenstar itself would have been my original prize, but I assume that's not going to be something you want to give up.
Ceres
Like
just
this
gives us a
incorrectly.
knowing smile. I think we have the magical prowess on our side here.
Mages. He like mutters under his breath.
Amanas looks over to Duchess and says, "That would be correct, I believe. If I may speak frankly here, Duchess, we are the reason that your long-time nemesis might finally be taken care of. We expect to be well compensated for that as well, as you might understand."
And I can see the fact that must be. I can see that fact to you. If I declare war on solid ground, even if I won, I will struggle to hold it politically.
No,
You were buying me an opportunity I wouldn't have otherwise.
we would be willing, I think, to. He seems to think allow access for you or some of your sages to the towers for study or similar research, but we would have the actual control over the land and the areas. In return for that as well, I would treat you as an ally instead of a vassal, like Lady Eliza.
In so doing, if the crown does decide to retaliate, as you said, you are in a position that is far, far from them, and we are the defending line for you.
what I would like to propose for you is this. I will take control of Reichhold. I will let you take control of Greater and Lower Alcend, which also gives you an easy access to the Southern Heartlands.
Hmm?
In addition to me having access to use the mage facilities at Altenstock. It only makes sense to me to fortify the land around me, and I'm still devoting quite a few resources to this war.
So telepathically, I mean, in Vicky's eyes, this is like the she's gonna want something, and out of all three lands here, this is the best to give her, I think.
Or Reichhold.
I mean, it's better to be under her vassaldom than the Duke of Alcend.
True.
Ultimately, is a quality of life increase. It's not our control, but we are nearby, and we are allies. So it's a better situation.
Amulas nods slowly and says, and we can count on your continued support in our efforts to head both south and also take on the Orcish horde in the east.
You intend to take on the horde personally?
The Duchy of Ferelda will not last long if this war continues. And so if we do contend to control Lower Alcend and Greater, then we have the means to begin to push back in earnest. And perhaps gain them too as a further ally.
An ally in the High Duchy of Ferelda will certainly put some worry in the Empire with a united Northern Realm.
At that point, we would control, with you being our ally, roughly a third of the empire.
In raw land, certainly.
The Orcish hordes are a secondary concern at the moment. Alcend is the main target, but the orcs must be handled in some fashion.
I'll admit the orcs have not been too much of my concern. I've been keeping an eye on them, but they have not been a major concern for me, for obvious reasons. Though you are correct that one day they may become everyone's problem.
Right now, it is more of a local nuisance than anything else, but they are aggressive and expansionist, and as far as I can tell, only interested in destroying and plundering, which would severely, hurt anything close by it. And I imagine even your trade routes or mercantile ambitions might also be hurt in the long run by this. It would be in your interest to help us against in the future as well.
Pause and considers. Though I'm unsure how much I can commit directly to such an effort. At minimum, I can ensure that I can help fortify your border as you take control of Alcend to defend you against the Revenant Horde.
He knows. Your war chest is no doubt bigger than ours, and will probably be so for the foreseeable future, given all the trade that moves through Silver Swift. Relying on some of that monetary backup would be quite helpful in raising and keeping armies.
Your thoughts is making this a more long-term alliance, then?
He nods. I will speak frank once more, Duchess. You have impressed me, and many of the moves and things that you have espoused intrigues me as well. I believe there is a potential for a long-term alliance.
Yet, despite the fact you know that I plan to succeed from the land you plan to take.
He looks at her and says, Well, as I recall you saying, that plan was if the land and the rule couldn't change, you would. But I intend to change it. And by doing so, I hope to convince you to stay.
Ambitious.
He nods grimly and says, "Yes."
As you said,
Disappointingly, of course, I will
Duchess.
not be able to call myself Archduchess after this. I won't, as rightfully the duchy title will move to yourself.
If you are concerned about a title on a paper, I am sure we can figure something out. He smiles.
It's fine. I can always figure out another way to become an Archduchess later.
He nods. I am sure you can, Duchess. And might I also say that there will be a royal council in the future, and seats on that royal council will be awarded to those who have been friendly to our efforts and who have the ambition for change as we do.
You do have to succeed, which makes that promise. I hope you do succeed, but for now, that's only a hope. We need the evidence. I need evidence for that.
We are working on.
Let us mark this first foray against the Duke as our claim. And if it goes well, then perhaps you will see that our promise is more of a potential future.
Of course, right now, infrastructure between our territories is not the greatest for moving troops and transport. Anything we do right now have to move through Reichhold. Or by boat.
Yes, we have some plans and efforts to improve infrastructure, but the projects are costly and take a long time. And we have to be careful with our spending.
There's a means, perhaps, through Lord Reinhardt. While officially he would not be able to support us, perhaps we could achieve something that would facilitate that.
To be honest, the poor man has been stripped of a lot of the taxes for his trade so much that if he hears a whisper that we might move goods and people through it and offer him some money in exchange, he might just take it and run.
And the good old chuck money at my problem solution.
It's surprisingly effective.
It
Added
is.
to the evidence that, his cousin is gunning for him. Might tip it.
Still, it's a dangerous proposition. If the Duke moves troops into Reichhold, will be cut off.
There is.
You have connections with the dwarves of Shattershield, do you not?
We do.
We do. We have a dwarven embassy here that we are on quite amenable footing with.
Do you believe you'd be able to get Lord Baron a suitable audience with your embassy? If so, I may be able to provide some of my war chests to have the dwarves begin digging us a tunnel through the mountains between Melrock and the Highlands.
The eyebrows shoot up on Amaleth's face.
Oh.
That is.
Well, we couldn't do official. Well, official trade road would take too long. If they could at least clear out a pass large enough to move troops through.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I
mean,
I
Barrow, go see the fucking dwarves. Wake him up.
I surely lack connections with a large enough dwarven hold to do something myself.
I mean, the dwarves would probably be ecstatic to do something like that.
Yeah. Digging, that's like their favorite thing.
We have the Dwarven Hold, and I personally also may be able to assist with my own Dwarven contacts in that regard.
Oh no, it's gonna be like that mafia group.
It's gonna be so
take the
shady.
tunnel.
It's gonna be secret tunnels in the tunnel.
If this
Oh,
is
man.
not an
Mafia
official
dwarves.
trade route for now, of course.
Look, in times of war, unlikely allies.
I mean, yeah, we can.
Is that what the Duchess is saying, or?
No, but that's me as a GM.
We can
Oh,
we
right,
can
right.
purge the tunnels of the riffraff after the war is over.
Look, we're good buddies. He's not gonna stitch me. He's kept me alive, and I've given him good details.
Didier, at this point, I might be, overthinking this, but you guys know the Duchess longer than I do. Maybe, you can take what she says at face value. But to me, it sounds like she is avoiding, like, openly speaking her support to us, and also at the same time getting us to agree to make troop movements into our territory easier. Which, if I were someone like her with not mischievous, malicious intent, that would be a lot of ways to, get troops right into our place, and then once the actual war with our neighbors to our south start, be like, yoinks, I'm actually on the other side, and I'm in your land, and I'm behind you.
If she
Yeah.
does that, it will go counter to pretty much everything we have learned about her. It might be such a long con for sure, and if that happens, it will be quite disastrous. But I don't know. I see little way around it. This might be a risk we just have to take.
It's a kind of a like I don't know the word for it, but like this is kind of the only ally we have. So if we don't ally with her, we might fail. If we do ally with her, we might succeed, or she may double cross us, but there is a chance, which is kind of like the catch-22, right? I think likelihood wise, I definitely agree with you, Sheep. That possibility is definitely there. But I think
Her agitation with Alcend is well known, and it's been going on for years, like long before we made any moves or made ourselves known.
Yeah, it is absolutely most likely that she's being straight up. But her plan is one of those where she doesn't need to openly commit until she is certain that everything will go as planned, whereas we're taking all the risk.
Yeah, but I think as a power party of less power, that's the point, right? Like that's.
Yeah, I know it just bothers me, and I also
of course.
would like to roll some dice and an insight check.
I mean,
because
you are
haven't rolled
always
dice
free.
for, like,
You're always
3
free
hours.
to. You're always free to insight any particular part of her plan if you want to.
I am going to insight her very being.
That's a
Oh,
very
wow.
good insight.
What do you find in her very being?
Basically, to phrase it more specifically, is there a plan behind her plan, or are we being as open as she wants us to think?
Torin believes she probably does have a plan behind her plan, but you don't think it's to backstab you.
All right, sure.
She probably has ulterior motives, but you don't think she plans to stab you in the back for this. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
that's good enough for me.
I also think for Vicus, like without him knowing about this insight, the fact that she's acting in accordance to someone with power who wants more without conflict, like she's acting in the way that someone would act. So like he's like, this makes sense.
After all, she doesn't want the political ramifications of being brought before the Queen of like, hey, why did you declare war?
Yeah, because she's trying to get away from the Radiant Crown. She doesn't want reprisal, and so she's trying to cloak her support, while also actually having support for us in a physical, like an actual way. So I get the cloak and dagger stuff, but it also is definitely a security threat for sure.
We can
Red flags for
probably-
sure.
Remember, we are making that tunnel. We can probably install, like, we can be the dwarves, be like, hey, dwarves, install certain like keystones here and there that we know about, that we can collapse the tunnels if we need to.
I mean, considering I might be able to pull some of my like underworld buddies in, maybe I can set that up. So like, there's a backup there.
Exactly. So in case of backstabber, we can just collapse the tunnel.
In case of backstab, press the red button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the most likely scenario would be that after like we have won the battle, she would backstab us and take all of it. If she's that ambitious, that she decides that she can do all of this on her own without us at all.
But if she thought she could do that, then she would have probably just taken us up anyway,
Right,
because
but
then she would take the Duke as well, right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right, but she needs us to lure him in so
oh,
she
sure,
can backstab him, and then when we are done fighting and bloody and miserable, she will backstab us. She
I
could.
guess, but I think at that point, since she's expended resources to assist us, I feel while it wouldn't be even, it wouldn't be impossible either. I think we'd have a chance. Because it's still on our home turf. Like, we have Sorkai, so.
Yeah, we do.
And the terrain around here makes defending way easier than attacking.
Yeah. It's definitely a disadvantage. Like, she's proposited the plan so that it would be a disadvantage for her to attack. Because, like, she can't really easily. So. No doubt she has ulterior motives. I mean, she is a high power person, but she's been honest with that too. She's like, we lie in some ways and not in others. So she's trustworthy enough to work with. Is Vicus's conclusion here? At least for now.
As part of the war effort, of course, I will be able to provide you with what at least I believe are probably our best course of action. Though it does depend on the Duke's own movements. The chances are the Duke, after hearing of Eliza's betrayal and throwing down the gauntlet, will begin to move troops from Altenstar, as well as call upon Reichhold to move troops into Freyfrost, attacking on two borders. To be honest, I wouldn't concern myself too much with Reichhold's movements. His people are tough, but they lack magical support behind them.
I am also suspecting that he might not be so quick to answer and move troops after what Alcend has done to him and his realm.
Very potentially. Either way, once troops do eventually move, as delayed as they might be, I will have mercenaries on my border ready to move across his, to begin an assault on Reichhold and draw pressure away from Freyfrost. This, of course, is once the initial battle has already concluded, wherever we end up meeting it within Freyfrost. You know your land better than I do.
In the event that we cannot somehow convince Lord Reinhardt to either act with us or just not act at all, then your troops at their border would be a good plan.
If you think you can convince him, go ahead, but I will have mercenaries ready regardless.
Of course.
With your main army, I will supply a small group of my own war mages to help try and protect against the Alcend's own magical attack. Then it's much smaller than what he can muster, but for the defensive, they'll manage. From there, it comes down to how we press into Alcend itself. Greater Alcend is well fortified and is his stronghold of power.
Yeah, I don't think we have much intelligence of Greater Alcend.
The Marshal speaks up again here at this point as she kind of grabs a kind of starts pointing out kind of various locations on the map and just kind of giving you guys kind of a play-by-play of like, hey, like, yeah, they've got a fort around here, they've got this around here, etc.
Yeah.
It's very clear that the Duchess has been spying on the Duke Alcend for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, she has. I know she has.
I also have one extra ace up my sleeve for when we eventually get to Altenstein. Undoubtedly, when we reach Altenstein, the Duke himself will feel threatened enough that he will unleash every bit of magical artillery he's got straight upon our armies. And unfortunately, as skilled as I am, I doubt I'll be able to hold off his entire army with one of my barriers. He's got enough stockpiled in there that just wouldn't be possible. I do have a plan, however. She smirks. Well, I'm going to wait a second before Jones to come back before I'll reveal the full plan.
All right. I think Vekas also has an inkling.
And you know a piece of the intel which she doesn't know that you know.
Yeah, he doesn't know how it's relevant, but he knows it is relevant to what she's about to say. So he's very alert and interested in what she's about to say next.
Welcome to the political maneuvering part.
Oh yes, indeed. The best part.
You are, of course, able to, propose your own versions of the plan.
I mean, I feel like she's been planning this for so long because she's been stuck in a stalemate that I feel like she's got the good plans already.
She has a decent plan already.
Yeah, and while we have like some adjustments based on our own personal knowledge of the politics in our own lands, I feel like she's got a good basis here.
I'm back.
Welcome back. We're just waiting for both you and Halldamir to get back.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I mean, she's been pondering this for a great many years, probably.
Waiting for the right opportunity.
Oh. That rabbit is gonna pounce.
It's going to be the Monty Python rabbit.
Yeah, bite the head off the bear. So many arrows.
The point is just roughly kind of drawing out the general troop movement plan.
Yeah.
Yep,
Color coded, of course, for convenience of who controls what.
of course.
Of course, as everyone knows, not all plans will survive ground zero, but
No plan survives contact with the enemy.
I've heard that.
the point of having a decent starting plan is not a bad thing. I presume the arrows make sense so far from what you've been told, though.
Yes, I understand.
You're going to have a very vertical kingdom at the end of this. If this is the plan that goes through, though. Controlling that.
Very column kingdom.
It vaguely looked like the UK, actually.
Coincidence? I think not.
It kind of looked like Britain, actually.
But this time around, it was Scotland who took the crown.
Revenge of the Scots.
Mm-hmm.
About time.
Only a millennia in the making.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. For sure. Yeah, I think the plan sounds pretty good.
It does require, of course, you to hold off 2 assaults on your border.
Yeah, the Reichhall assault. I don't know. We might be able to talk him out of it, honestly.
Do you? I don't. I feel like if
Be like,
if
"Hey,
we
listen."
tell him, come on, dude, like we're gonna be doing this. You know it's not in your best interest to throw all of your shit at us. Like, we will have some backing you will not expect.
Yeah,
Just-
I think the first thing we need to do is sit Rochelle down and be like, look, I don't know what your deal is with him, but you need to tell us because this is going to happen, and we need to figure something out.
You need to go there and talk to him. Maybe.
Come with us. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get everyone back then.
Yep.
So obviously, once we all begin assaulting Altonstar itself, the Duke is going to chuck every bit of magical artillery that he's been saving up and stockpiling over the last several years at us to wipe us out. That's no surprise. It's at the end of the day, he's a coward. He's going to sit back personally until we're on his doorstep. What I've been doing secretly over the last several years, though, is very slowly tainting many of his reagents he has in his palace.
Oh ho.
Vic is like, he can't help it. He chuckles a bit to himself and smiles. Like, it's very obvious that he knows.
Wow, she's sneaky.
She actually looks at Vickers as he chuckles.
He gives her a wink, but he doesn't say anything else.
She makes a mental note of that. There are many reagents that have flown through my port and flown through various other ports that I have influence over. I've had alchemically tainted in one way or the other. It's been subtle. But it's, for the most part, undetectable. However, if then, with only a little bit of a push from someone, all of these alchemical ingredients could suddenly, well, backfire on him quite heavily. Resulting, when he tries to unleash a blast of arcane might, he's more likely to blow himself up than actually succeed at a spell.
What kind of a push are we talking here?
That would require a more direct interaction.
Someone who can get there unseen, I presume.
It would require us having someone infiltrate into the stockpile. Or a team getting in unseen, just sabotage it.
I see.
Finish the sabotage. The groundwork's all there, but someone would still need to finish it. We'd be on a time crunch with this. He'd obviously start realizing something was wrong with the ingredients if we did it too soon. We would have to sabotage it just before he needs them.
Then we need a way to communicate.
The communication will be the easy part. Just listen for the war horns of the armies approaching. The harder part is getting inside and sabotaging it one way or the other.
Because nods. Yes, hard, but not impossible. I have done similar. Can be done again.
You believe you might be able to...
I know I will.
If you believe you can put together a suitable team to get inside the palace and finish off our sabotage for us, I can provide an entry route inside of his walls.
Ah, you've made my job much, much easier.
So I won't be able to provide much support on the inside, but I'll be able to get you past his outer walls.
Take his things for a second. If you can get me that far, then I believe I can do the rest.
You and up to 8 teammates if you need it.
I have some in mind, yes.
Understood. Hopefully then, the dear Duke will attempt to annihilate our armies, exposing himself somewhat, and best case scenario, he blows himself up. Worst case scenario, it just fizzles, but then he's caught on the back foot as our armies can hopefully siege out his city, while the infiltration team can hopefully just open the gates for us.
Is there a possibility of, I don't know, blowing ourselves up?
Sabotaging the ingredients?
Indeed, yes.
Not unless you try using them.
Then we should be fine.
The sabotage process is relatively simple. There'll be some alchemical draughts that my court will make for it. They simply basically need to just be poured over the ingredients, and well, it will be unnoticeable at the time unless he scrutinizes them closely. But it will set off the reaction needed when he casts the spell.
All right.
Thankfully, he's just given his court the order to buy up all the magical ingredients inside his realm. The court's not looking at them too closely.
A very clever plan, Duchess.
Clever, just manipulating his hubris. He believes himself to be the best mage in the area. No one could surpass him. Don't make me laugh. Taking lower Alcen should be cakewalk afterwards. Hopefully we've already got the Duke right then and there, and we won't even have to assault it.
Yes, that seems like I imagine that Laura Zen would just sort of fold if the Duke gets taken out.
Given it's under the Duke's personal control,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, obsessed.
Okay. Well,
This is at least the operation plan that I've divulged. I've devised along with my marshal here, based on the best information we can get from, well, the Duke's movements.
I think it's a good plan.
yes, I believe the plan is sound. It might be even possible to improve our circumstances with some effort, but as a base, this is good.
Certainly, repelling his initial assault on you will be the hardest challenge for you. We can't let him get a foothold in Freyfrost, or else it may put us greatly on the back foot.
Eliza's with us, right?
Not for this meeting.
Not for this meeting. Okay.
She was dismissed.
I have to talk to her about how she feels about Freyfrost being like another battleground again.
I mean, we'll talk to her after.
Yeah.
What we do with the Duke afterwards, we'll figure out when we get there. Assuming he hasn't blown himself to shreds.
I guess we'll see.
It's hard to tell exactly how good of a mage he is when he is more air than actual show.
Well, when threatened, people certainly show spectacular ability, but I guess we'll see.
My biggest worry when we do assault out and start is if he ends up pulling some of the more unprepared troops out. I do know, for example, he has a troop of sorcerers that he has been training for some time. But worryingly, if he pulls them out, I fear our battlefield may become manifest of wild magic,
Hmm.
which even I can't predict.
Well, hopefully, we will get him quick enough so he can't like start doing the weird stuff. Like if we like take it, like just moving very quickly seems to be the order of the day here.
Agreed.
Don't give him any time whatsoever to actually realize what's going on or rally or think about it. You just need to move.
We'll have to move quickly. There are border forts we'll have to take entering into Greater Elsend from both sides, but if we can move fast enough, he hopefully won't realize what happened before. Preferably, we can get past the border forts before the messengers have even got back to his capital. Ambitious, I know, but if we move quick enough. I doubt he'll be expecting us to have such an assault ready in reverse.
Mm-hmm. I quite agree.
Of course, that's only assuming he doesn't know I'm involved.
Right.
If he sees I'm involved, he's immediately going to realize what's happening.
Well, I'll try to keep that hidden from him.
It's why I also can't really use my army too much. If I move my personal army, he'll notice immediately. Again, thankfully mercenaries are cheap.
Yes, and once the trap is sprung, we can just attack with all might, really.
Yes, my full force can then move through the hole we've created in Reichhold.
All right.
But we'll have to. But that can only be done after he's already on the back foot. But if we play our cards right, hopefully we can win this war with. Yeah, I'm hoping with only 3 or 4 battles.
Sounds like a plan to me, honestly.
I don't know what forces you have at your disposal, but I'm sure you can figure out the logistics. Of course, my marshal here. She kind of stares at her for a moment. Will be more than happy to share any intel that you need with your team.
Would be much appreciated.
Of course, right now, army-wise, you don't have a lot, but that's not the point.
We can probably cobble something together. Smile slightly. Looks, but yeah, I'll have to be a think for the treasury, I guess. So just try to take some because we haven't used our arm in a while.
No, and you've not really had a proper general, so
Yep. Who did we have for thought as a general? Was it was our dude, right?
as general, you had 2 options, which was either taking Sir Bolton,
Yeah,
or it was Sir Gillian, were the 2 options you had originally.
Then we will go with Gillian because Bolton is needed in Freyfrost.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the 2 options you currently have on your table. Though obviously, you might be able to find more later, but
yeah,
He also has some faith, so it's good.
true.
The biggest concern I have is what you revealed, since you revealed my suspicions. That previously he had the Inquisition forces on his side.
Yes, the Inquisitional forces were thoroughly beaten and humiliated and sent packing. Turns out the leader of the bunch was faking his divine powers, supplementing arcane magic for it instead, trying to pull off miracles that way. He did not survive, and the rest of them were let go south. We also believe that the church has started some sort of inquiry or purge, perhaps. I'm actually a little bit unsure, but the Reverend Mother of Freyfrost at least indicated that there will be quite some ramifications for the people involved in that stunt.
I admire the brazen duplicity, but kind of impressive, actually.
He got burned alive by his own fire elementals in the end.
Hubris.
Hubris is the downfall of many good mages, and many bad ones. So be it. But very well. I think this is a workable plan for our initial alliance.
I think so too.
For our further relations beyond this, we'll have to see how things progress.
Sounds good.
But it would be good to not have to worry about my northern border at all, or my western border for that matter.
We are happy to be no worry of the northern border.
She and her marshal will continue to give you some further military information. But do you have any further questions or anything further you wish to raise with her in this stratagem?
No, I think everything seems to be kind of clear, right?
I think so.
She's proposed to you what her plan is for this.
It's a pretty good one, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't have any better at this point. It is a plan that puts us on the front line and doing a lot of the grunt work, but I think that's just how it's going to be.
She's providing logistical and magical backline support.
Again, this is also like the claim to prove, right? So, even though we're doing most of the grunt work and putting ourselves in a slightly vulnerable position here, if we prevail through that, then it's a clear show to her that we do what we say.
So, I think this has been a very productive meeting, don't you all?
Nods, for sure.
Again, thank you for the dinner, Duke Zeal.
All right. Well, in that case, as people start, leaving the meeting, Amanas will indicate to her that he would wish to speak with her, privately. Would suggest they perhaps retreat to one of the libraries or some such for a little bit of final conversation for a night.
She has a very curious look, but will indulge you.
Excellent. Well, as we would settle down in one of the side rooms or whatnot, Amanas will, he will stand by the window looking out over this quiet snowfall of Sorkai. Perhaps the moon is out, who can say? He will, as the moon hits him, perhaps his aura slightly lightens as well. The silvery sheen of the moon sort of dancing around his head. He will, make sure that she's, settled in or not just hanging by the door. You know what I mean?
She has taken herself a seat by the crackling fire.
Yeah. He will then, by still staring out, and says, "You seem to be an individual of many secrets, Duchess.
A statement that could be extended to many people in my position.
Certainly, but very few of them seem to act the way you do. I have been curious ever since I first laid eyes upon your mansion, and my court magician Ceres told me of the fantastical power that you have woven into your mansion. And I keep harping on that particular point because, as I said, I've never seen something quite like it. My people are judicious and prudent in most of their dealings. And naturally, before we came to Reichhold, we have made inquiries. We have come up with some guesses and ideas of what might be going on. Something I would like to perhaps discuss with you one on one, not in front of the others, as I do not want to risk embarrassing either of us. As rulers, we must think of our what we project to the ones who serve under us. I'm sure you understand.
She makes a motion to continue. She's kind of smiling quite a bit right now. She kind of just watches your body language.
You have prodigious magical powers. You have vast coffers, as far as I can tell, personal wealth that is most likely rivaling most of the other High Lords of the realm. You seem to have a keen sense of justice and a deep frustration of not being able to act upon said justice in many cases. Also quite ambitious, and some might even say greedy for certain things. Magic, land, that seems to be quite important to you. You also rule over coastal regions and focus a lot on trade over the seas. I also happen to know that you are involved in some trafficking of some rather rare magical ingredient. Dragon scale, to be precise. The results of all of these and what I have witnessed leads me to believe that you are more than you seem, Duchess. And he will turn around slowly, and the aura perhaps will blaze a bit brighter as it would continue. I would hazard a guess that you are not necessarily half elven.
She smirks slightly. Keen observations, all of them.
I am surrounded by good people.
You're not incorrect in many of your assumptions. I do have quite the fortune that rivals pretty much all of the other major dukes and archdukes, though it's well fought for.
No doubt.
And decent bit inherited.
We'll sit with her for a second longer, see if she continues to speak.
And of course, reagents. You are correct. I have been trading in several dragon scales from certain locations overseas. Vital with my current plan of ascent. But you dare to say that I'm not a half elf?
My best guess would be to say that you are yourself a dragon, a bronze dragon, I would guess.
She says nothing, but Amonis, you are immediately hit with an aura of dread.
Yep.
She really just turned on her frightful presence. Like,
Not at full power, but she did turn it on, so...
She did the full Galadriel.
yeah. Oh man. Valky, vindication, my man.
As you look into the half elves' eyes, and they have turned slitted, staring at you.
Ah,
I'm afraid to
vindication.
speak because I'm gonna scream. So. I'm gonna be
Ah,
Well,
I gotta admit, I was half hoping she would go like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
This alliance
so
is
was
over.
I, yeah.
We are
You
gonna-
lot, you guys are crazy. This is over. I'm not. Would never speak to me again.
Called me a what? I'm a lizard.
such an interesting theory you've got. And she then turns it back off again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, did he at least get the color right? Like,
Unfortunately, she's not sure enough to say that.
ah,
Amanas would.
She kept her human guise, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yes. He is resistant to fear from the paladin stuff, I believe.
And she wasn't projecting it too hard, so
Yeah, but he, he
you've probably felt the hairs
yeah,
kind of sticking up on end.
he's like goosebumps over his entire body. Yeah, no, he will visibly do an effort to relax his stance a little bit. Maybe he went to fighting stance, like without even thinking about it.
Are you not going to attack me now?
I think that would be unfortunate for both of us.
I would rather not destroy this beautiful library of yours.
He looks around. I'd rather not be destroyed either.
I can destroy
Would
my
we also
library. I
be-
swear to God.
It would also be awfully inconvenient for me to explain to your Count Eisen what happened to you after he winks.
Or the rest of my court.
I will say that I feel happy that my compatriots have been reliable once again, and I am also gratified that you have decided to show some of your truth. I hope that one day I can see all of it. He also smiles again, putting on the charm.
Perhaps one day. I
It
must,
is also. Sorry.
must say though, you're not dissuaded at all at finding out what I am.
Yeah. Sounds thoughtful for a little bit and says, there are certainly tales what happens to people who deal with dragons. But in this particular instance, no. We have a common goal, and I am in the habit of making strange and unique allies for myself. That seems to be the key to victory to me. And having a creature of legend, such as yourself, at my side only seems beneficial.
I mean, when people say don't deal with dragons, I can't say that. That's a good reason for it.
He nods.
My kind's thoughts generally extend far beyond that of... She just gestures to the window.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is true, and yet you have certainly inserted yourself quite a lot into the politics of this realm for many years.
Well, there is reasons for that. I may not be entirely of my kin.
He corks an eyebrow. Oh.
As you said, half of me may not be an elf.
Interesting.
Regardless of that, though, I have. Well, you're not wrong. With what you've said so far, I desire justice for my realm. I desire my people to have a fair opportunity in it. As I've said to you, I dislike the stagnation that this empire of yours has built.
He nods. I agree wholeheartedly.
It's been hundreds of years and nothing has really changed. Your realm has looked the same for all of it, despite multiple lifetimes passing. Sure, a few borders have moved, places have changed name, but your people haven't changed. Your culture hasn't changed. It's all remained frozen in this worship of the light and nothing else.
Well, as we move forward with our efforts and our campaign, perhaps you would consider my offer of being on my council in the future. If you are interested in change and making the realm better, I would have your advice.
The Duchess stands up from her seat and gently kind of walks over to the window with you. What a fruitful situation this might become.
He nods. He looks out. I am not sure exactly what the heavens have in store for me or plans. As I said, I was given a second chance. My life was wasted. And then I was almost killed. And suddenly, I have left all of the trappings of kingship behind me. And I am fully committed to die, drunk and alone and miserable in some godforsaken outpost in the north. But something happens. I am filled with rage. I am filled with fury and indignation for the injustice that I have been through and what I have witnessed. And I swear an oath on these principles that I shall retake my kingdom. I shall reconquer it. I will make myself worthy of it. And at that point, I will, and through that journey itself, I will certainly deal with much of what made me what I was. And I suppose what I am.
She kind of leans against the window, kind of looks to you. Just don't let that rage consume you. A ruler who is nothing but rage won't serve his people well.
Yes.
Rage is a valuable tool, but let it be that.
That is again why I have made an effort to surround myself by not preening yes men, but actually people who give good advice and whose advice I value. and so far it has worked well, and I hope it does so in the future. But to that, who can say? Really, we must roll the dice and see what happens. It is the only way to get anything done.
Yes. That's one way of putting it. Doesn't mean we can't stack the dice in our favor, though.
He nods. Indeed.
You see, she seems to be looking at Amnes up and down in more of an admiring sense than she has before.
Oh my.
Seeing how, seeing your determination in you.
The moonlight catches his hair. All right. Well,
Well, this has been an enlightening talk.
Yes, likewise. As I said before, I believe I am interested in fair and straightforward dealing. I dislike skullduggery, and I leave all that cloak and dagger stuff to my advisors. I prefer more direct talk. And having this conversation was necessary.
Do understand though what you've learnt here. She's gonna put her finger to her lips.
He nods. Of course.
If you force my hand, I will be required to just bury you politically.
I am sure it won't come to that.
It would be a shame. After all, I was hoping for a nice neighbor now.
Oh, well.
The bear had been. Let's be honest. Neither of us want the bear.
He shakes his head. Likewise, we also wish for nice neighbors. Well,
if you need to speak further, you know where I'll be.
He nods. I believe we are done for tonight. Good night, Dutch.
Good night, Duke.
And scene.
Yay!
Yeah, Amanas will relay to Vickers and Saris. He'll be like, yep. Yep.
Saris and Vickers just start doing like a little jumping
A jig.
dance sort of thing.
Yeah.
No word to Torrent standing outside the door.
Oh,
Fuck you, dork.
well, Tord is too stoic to be curious at all, right?
Oh, he's standing outside the door waiting.
He is only doing his duty as the guard for our esteemed guests, of course.
Of course.
She does
at all interested.
she does wish Torin a good evening as she walks past with a knowing smile.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'll take half dragon, honestly. Like
he will say that she did not reveal any coloration, so he can't be. She's a dragon, or at least a half dragon of some kind. What color he's not sure because she didn't say, but indicated that their guess was correct.
I mean, given that their color can be a predictor for their behavior, it makes sense that she didn't.
yeah.
It would be giving your, well, ally a book on how you act, presumably.
Hmm.
Of course, if she is a half dragon, she's going to be more unpredictable than a.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, you're guessing she's bronze, but do you know whatever color is social, mischievous, and aquatic?
Black.
Yeah.
Green.
Green. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, we actually have in our, like, me and Valky just talking, but like, this is where it turns out
actually,
chromatic.
I was like, what if she's actually chromatic?
Yeah, and I said, oh, that'd be such a green or green or black move, like.
No.
If she's a chromatic, it's going to be more of a problem, I think, because you know.
Well,
well, you seem kind of evil now all of a sudden.
I don't think.
Right, but again,
you could
she's
deal
half
with a
dragon.
green dragon.
Yeah, because it's the case where, as Dark said, she's unpredictable. So whether or not she acts with or without her nature, you know, who knows?
I don't think she is, just because she has a lot of emphasis on the care of her people. I don't think most chromatics would. Yeah,
It's a lot of facade over a long period of time. I
It's
don't know.
just too
dragons...
much, I think, for a chromatic
It's,
character.
it's possible, I guess, for a green or blue to pull that off, but
They
they,
tend to be on the more lawful sticks, so
but they don't usually. They don't polymorph like they more revel
Yeah.
in their draconicness. They don't hide it like she does, but
But metallics
it's
are
hard to
known
say.
for dabbling in like polymorphs, like silvers especially. So
yeah.
they
Most-
take on that paladin
I mean,
bullshit.
most metallics love their polymorph.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
we discover that she
Yeah.
has a keen interest in like poisons or something, then we might revise our.
Well, it's more if she belies her nature and does something like counter.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
true.
If she again, if she is a green, she would be pretending to be what she is. So
Yes,
Oh.
you confirmed you've confirmed your theories that in theory it looks like that she might be a green dragon wizard, not green. Sorry, a half dragon wizard, not green dragon.
Mm.
You guys kept saying green.
Half green dragon.
I will forget that you said that.
She must not leave this castle.
She'd be killed immediately. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, kill them immediately.
Wait,
Amina shows up as Emperor Palpatine hologram.
you
Kill
guys,
them immediately.
you guys didn't quite say half before. You guys just said 4, but hey, close enough.
Any sort of ancestry is fine.
I mean, half dragon is a pretty serious deal still.
It is. What are
Yeah.
Dragonborn like? A sixth, an eighth dragon? Like what? Or quater?
No,
I don't think
It's
they are
like
really
ancestors.
related to
they
dragons,
are.
like,
There's
not directly.
some. Yeah, there's some weird offshoot somewhere that sort of created them. I think.
Yeah.
They're like distant cousin. Someone like kobolds are distant cousins.
Yeah.
Alright.
But yeah, in this case, so
Don't
half.
compare me to a kobold.
Yeah,
How dare you?
Really
half,
big kobold.
yeah, and also unlike sorcerers, which can be many generations separated. But no, half dragon is you are one generation separated.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Or well, technically you can sometimes I've seen them appear for like 2 generations separated, but you get the point. Like they're very direct connection.
Or Amina should have been like, so can we recruit your mother/father for this war, maybe?
Have a big Mama Bronze show up.
Like green.
Green
You're like,
dragon
oh
shows up.
fuck. Yeah.
A big Drake Rider shows up like, oh,
Big green,
we're the
oh,
villains now,
yeah.
I guess. Oh, well.
I think
I
we're
mean,
the villains anyway, man.
I mean, clearly you've got one big problem though. Alcen's landlocked.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, does that matter to dragon? No.
Honestly,
Not really.
we are the villains in this story. Look at our banner compared to the Empires. I mean, come on. Just-
I mean that is
Vibe.
partly painted because that is how the Empire views you.
yeah.
History will decide if we are the villains.
Exactly, and we will win, so we write the history.
Yeah,
You know-
the victors
you know,
write
it's
the
just-
history.
But, it's just the red border spreading from the south, spreading from the north, sorry, down south.
Yeah, red is the color of friends. Yes.
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 Mm-hmm.
Look, good is subjective.
That's right.
So yeah, while Amnos is like flirting up the Duchess, can Vickers check on the Count? Is he still like in his room asleep or whatever?
He does appear to be in his quarters. Some of their entourage are apparently sitting at the door.
Okay, fair enough. Just inquiring as to his health because he seemed a bit tipsy.
The guard will confirm that last time they checked on him, he was in good health.
That's
Just very drunk.
good. Alrighty. Ah,
And so that concludes the stratagem and a basic alliance.
Hooray! Victory.
Yahoo!
Yahoo!
I said she clearly has motivations of her own, but
It was pretty
Ah.
obvious why now. Like, she's a dragon. Of course, she's ambitious. Half dragon, I should say.
I'm trying. Yeah. I think Dragon is ambitious enough to be super ambitious for a normal mortal. If you're just
So-
half dragon.
Half not green.
plus
half
she's
dragon.
she's going to live for ages. So
Yeah, true.
Maybe she's a green / bronze.
Oh.
like quarter.
like some
Quarter, half.
Yeah, remember.
very strange mix.
Yeah, remember how it's half dragon? It's actually half of two separate dragons.
Exactly.
Her mother's mother was a green. Her father's mother was a bronze. It's just a weird mix.
Not sure how that happens.
She's also 1/8 red.
Oh, jeez.
Gosh, there's a
1/8
complicated
thread,
woman.
Well, regardless,
Look, look, family trees get complicated after a while.
I'm happy with what we got out of that.
Yeah. Good work, guys. You figured it out.
Nice indeed.
I will leave
You
the
know,
battle plan strong.
If she were to marry a full dragon, then the children would be 3/4 dragons.
Yeah.
3/4 dragons. What would that even?
I don't know.
I don't know.
At what point, if they start breeding with other dragons, like if it's just dragons from that point, at what point?
I feel
That's a
we need to
confirmed
investigate
dragon.
for science.
If
We
she
need to-
can share the secret of how she lives so long, I'll marry her right away. So
Usually, I think usually if you have a half dragon and an actual dragon, you get. I think you just get more half dragons usually.
Probably.
yeah,
Is half dragon the dominant gene?
probably. It's like recessive.
Yeah, so like
Recessive,
the
recessive,
dragon is the recessive gene. So
yeah.
tell that to a
I mean-
dragon, you'll get eaten.
It's a puny motor body. It can't handle birthing a dragon.
True.
Also, it's not like if dragons of different colors like have children, they don't. They are either one of those colors, not a mix.
There is
Yeah.
the fabled yellow dragon that
Yes.
both the blue and the green deny vehemently exist.
Ew.
Well, we know that we know that there was one dragon at least around the Stalkai area, right? Because there's that statue.
We should ask him. What do you think about yellow dragons?
I mean, there's a statue of an ancient dragon there. You don't know if the dragon still exists or not.
I wonder if it's related.
I wonder if it's like her parents or something.
Yeah,
Oh
right.
no.
Maybe we should look into it. Maybe we'll
I'd-
figure something out.
You know what? Add it to the list of research.
Nope.
It's like 2 fucking libraries full of like topics now.
It's just.
I mean, in fairness, once we enter the actual chapter, you're going to have just an active research slot open that you can
Oh,
start.
yeah.
No, that's going to be full constantly.
It's
It's
gonna.
never going to be empty.
It will never be empty.
I feel like we have a backlog. Yep.
Yes, we have a back.
I feel like for any tech tree, you should always have tech on the go, right?
Yeah,
That's true.
sure.
We
Honestly,
need more slots. We need more researchers.
Yeah,
that's why I'm trying to collect.
Any news from that guy in Silverswift who did the thesis on stone shaping or something?
I don't know. Did he come along with the
Did
Duchess?
he want to come?
Like, I offered him the place. I don't know if he wanted to come or not. He was.
Well,
he
that brings up
considered
an
it.
interesting point, actually.
Also, where's my fucking tortoise?
Yes, this brings up an interesting point.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Because, well, yes, there is more to her entourage than I have alluded so far.
Oh no, the tortoise is part of the entourage.
Yes.
The old
yes,
man
he
is the
should be.
tortoise.
The old man is the tortoise.
Tortoise has learned to polymorph, and is now.
That's what he was concentrating on.
Yeah, the Count Isambaro is in fact the tortoise.
He was
That'd be hilarious.
focusing on his polymorph.
That would
Maybe
be a plot twist.
Count Churchill.
All right, Doc, tell me about my tortoise. That I.
Tell me about the Count Tortoise that we have.
Well, as you requested, she did in fact take the little tortoise you gave her and brought it to her druidic circle.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Poor tortoise.
And now I'm scared. I feel like something happened.
He has the druidic circle, which suggests green again, by the way.
The druidic circle was apparently quite puzzled by the request.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
However, they do owe her favors.
See, I just love the
To be
idea.
fair, we also have like druidic circle. Well, we used to
We
have
used to,
druidic circle
yeah.
connections.
had-
So
You mean you had druid?
We had druid.
we had a druid.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you kind of still have a druidic circle. The ice fairy is still around.
true, true.
It's
I don't
true.
trust her for a second.
We owe
Oh,
her
yeah.
a statue still.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about that.
We have to.
We have to do it.
Curses.
She
It
will
was.
curse
It was.
us.
It was in the compact. She made.
But
It
the
was-
dude with the compact is dead, so surely
Nope,
the compact is
With-
dead.
with
No,
everyone.
it's with Lady
Liza.
With
Eliza.
Eliza.
Yeah.
Oh.
It has to be in Feyfrost.
Has
so.
to be done. Yeah. It will be
Well-
done regardless.
Be else be cursed with the worst winter you've ever had.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we
good.
get some really bad winters, so let's not. So, alright. They owed her favor.
And so, though it took some convincing, they did eventually awaken the tortoise. And yes, she has brought it along. It is on the ship.
Yes. I'm very annoyed that Estinian didn't come with.
You know that Estinian didn't come along.
I mean, he
Busy
might have been caught
shooting
to-
Sahagans or something.
You know, he should have tried harder.
I mean,
Not good enough
If you
match.
miss him, you can send him a love letter.
No. This is about him putting in effort for Ceres, damn it.
Oh wow.
And you
One of
know,
those
he
now.
just didn't. He just didn't.
You are very complicated. Just
Ceres
go
is a very
for it.
complicated woman. He doesn't.
If you inquire about Estinian, you will learn
No.
that he was denied this voyage.
Oh, so he asked and was
Oh.
denied. So he did try. So there you go.
No, he should have sent a carrier pigeon. That's the least
He
he
should
could
have
do.
swam. He should have swam all the way
Should've
here.
swam. Dude's got 4 attack rolls. He can fucking swim.
Shoot himself across the water.
Only by swimming here will you prove your love to me.
Oh my
Zeus and her high standards.
god. Possible, yeah.
No wonder she's still a spinster at her age.
This is why she has a
Alright.
tortoise.
She's got 800 years left in her. What have you got?
Elves
80.
don't live 800 years.
Elves live 1,000 years. She's
No,
200
they
years
don't.
old.
They live 750 years.
750 days. Alright, she's got 500 years easily. Amenas has 80. You know?
Yep, a good 80 in me.
He's
myself.
a spin.
I have a few left.
It's like 2. So
Excuse me. I mean, you know, I might keel over after we take out sand. Who knows?
all the heavy drinking and stuff finally catching
There-
up.
there is one mild side effect with your newly awakened tortoise.
Okay, what's the side
It
effect?
is to be bigger than you remember it.
It hates
bigger.
all living
Huge.
things.
It's huge.
So,
Remember-
Is
can
it a
we now
horizon
actually
back?
cannons on it?
It is not.
Oh.
It is not a full horizon back.
Oh.
But can I ride him
How-
into battle?
Not yet.
Oh,
Oh,
Wait,
how
not
does
It's
it
yet.
get the
very
cannon
slow,
first?
Halldamir. It's a tortoise.
However, the point is, usually you handed over just this tiny little tortoise you could hold in your hands.
yeah. He was-
Now it's it's bigger. It's bigger than Lucker's.
Oh, it's huge.
Oh my god.
me-
I like the thought though. I have forced the gift of sentience upon
Yeah.
you. Now carry me.
Yeah. Now I shall ride you into battle, and the poor tortoise is like, why?
I mean, you did save it from like.
I
being
saved him
swept
from
up in the
drowning,
waves.
man, you know? I
Now you have taken him to the frozen land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love him. He's
Oh god, you can't ride that. That's very spiky.
Lord Shell.
Lord Shell.
Lord Shellos.
you know the beautiful thing is
Yes.
he's more intelligent than the king.
Oh, don't tell him that.
Ah,
He'll do
hello.
it right now. That's amazing.
What's his highest skill? Maybe we have a position for him on the council.
I'll have to look into that for you. I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
Constitution, maybe.
His highest ability score is con. Yes.
Maybe
If you
maybe
replace Torin with a fucking tortoise, I'm leaving.
The raw food taster.
I mean,
he-
both
he
have
might
scaly
have-
bodies.
he-
So.
He might have survival since he's a tortoise. Maybe he could be the ranger, like the royal ranger.
The Royal Ranger.
The
Also-
master
Slowest
of hunt.
ranger in the land.
Yeah, master of the hunt.
Also,
I
he
mean-
won't be slow if I cast haste on him. Come on.
And
It's the
Uh,
tortoise.
I mean, you found him in the water. You don't currently have an admiral.
Oh,
yes.
Admiral Shell. Admiral Shell of
Admiral
Sorkai.
Shell.
Admiral
He
Lord
gets the-
Shell,
He gets the
yes.
trident of fish command. I command you.
Oh,
Well,
no.
he needs to be like bypassed.
But yes, Lord Shell of Sorkai will now be added to the roster
Great.
as a ongoing retainer.
Oh, good.
Oh my god.
I'm sure he will be
Halldamir.
very useful.
Lord Shell does not currently have an upkeep.
Again, as I said, please grant Halldamir this because this is curbing his chaotic tendencies. So
It really is,
this
honestly.
is his addiction being fed. So
This,
And hell,
either this or fireballs in Sorkai. So like,
and hey, you know it's your ally because look, it's green.
it's green,
Yeah.
you know. Honestly,
It's true.
Valky is right. This has taken
I
away a
know.
lot of my attention from things. And
I've heard the stories.
Well, you better work better now.
this, I mean,
Uh,
if I work
now you
better,
have-
then there's more explosions. Honestly, I've got ideas for Persephone. It's just...
Now, you have your pet. You need to promise to take him for a
But-
walk.
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
feed him, take care of him.
He's an awakened tortoise. He knows more. He knows what to do.
He can feed himself.
He can feed
Wow.
himself, you know. He can take
Tortoise
himself
pops
to the
into
toilet.
kitchen. Salad, please. And slowly eat salad.
But maybe he can, if he doesn't come our admiral, maybe he can come on, the necromancer.
Necromancer tortoise.
Necromancer. Yes.
Darth Shell.
Art shell.
Oh,
yeah.
shell.
Darth Shell of Sorkai. Yeah.
Oh my god. What
Necro tortoise.
do we?
Good, that man, that's good.
Oh, I know what my new character is, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. If you die, now we have
You
Lord
die,
Shell.
My,
yeah. Lord
my
Shell
dead
is
spirit will
ready.
inhabit Lord Shell.
Just waiting for him to say tubular.
Oh no, the reincarnation spell went horribly wrong.
Can only incarnate you in Lord Shell.
Oh. Ahoy.
Our mateys. Put the eye patch on Lord Shell. Very good. Very good.
I can't help but imagine, you know, the like, hello, my fellow kids meme. It's just the same, except it's the tortoise going, hello, my fellow counselors.
That's great.
We just don't say anything. It's just on the council, and the next time we have a big meeting, he just walks in with a lot of papers,
Yeah.
and sits down next to Mikara, and like we don't say anything about it. It's just act as if been always been there,
Yeah, don't tell
What
anybody
the
else.
fuck, guys? How far can we go until she breaks her like noble demeanor? Is like, okay, guys, what the fuck?
He puts on those like pince-nez glasses that he has like in a golden cord on his neck. Looks at the
Oh my God.
papers. I have worked over the numbers and
Would that be against Lord Raiden more?
replace Lord Raiden with Tortoise.
Ah,
Yeah, he's
I do say.
yes. Well, soon to be Admiral Shell. It's gonna be great.
Well, it's certainly going to be an interesting addition to the council.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I'm so happy.
On another note, the training that we're currently doing with Mazara and Kieran, how
Oh,
long
yeah.
is it supposed to last until?
In character, it takes several weeks. Basically, by the time though you're going to actually, basically the result is though because all the time it's been passing so far narratively.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There's a reason basically I said you can mark it down because it's going to be done by the time you actually get round to more action.
Okay, sweet. All right.
So then, Dark, my question comes is, can I use the Tressim as a familiar? 'Cause it's not like base, it's part of a adventure book, I think, but
I would need to look it up in more detail. It's the winged cat, right?
yeah. So it's in 5e. It's part of the. I think I told you. Like, they're like, they are a written familiar for players to use.
If they're written familiar, probably. I haven't looked at them in detail, but
yeah. But I mean, it just fits Ceres's aesthetic. Like, they're not the best familiar, mechanically speaking, but just aesthetically, the Tressum is just perfect. Like a freaking flying magic cat for a chaotic sorceress. That's just. I don't think you can say anything else is more perfect.
because what can go wrong?
Sounds like a terrible combination. It's like it flies on the highest shelf it can find and just knocks over stuff.
I think they're pretty intelligent. Oh.
Familiars usually are.
Yeah.
But I have to double check, but I think Lord Shell, I think was more likely to go into fighter if he was going to cast levels.
I mean, that
Lord
makes
Shell
sense.
is a fighter.
What if he becomes
Maybe a
Ceres's
samurai?
bodyguard?
Samurai.
Samurai.
Or become a cavalier and ride on like a bigger
Oh
tortoise.
yeah. Cavalier and a bigger tortoise or a horse.
Though
Oh,
the Ranger was also considered.
Range.
Get a bow to shoot somehow.
Just go monk and go full Kung
Oh,
Fu
yeah.
Panda.
Yes. Yeah.
Monk. Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
also the barbarian beast would be interesting. Just to
Yeah.
another beast. Hmm.
Oh no,
yeah.
Druid of the primordial.
Druid is
Dinosaur.
actually a possibility as well. That's true.
Barbarian. He just gets into rage because he hates being.
It's being a
Yeah.
I mean, it's got high enough con for it.
Why
If
do
you-
I live?
If you guys would like to select a class for Lord Shell, go ahead. You may as a group select a class for Lord Shell. It may take some time for Lord Shell to get into that class, but he can begin training.
He
I
takes
don't know, I'd
up
have
a
to
dark
think about
pact,
it.
becomes a warlock.
How about
No.
If
how about Artificer?
like,
Artificer.
no,
Oh,
like if
no.
he's gonna be our admiral, he could be like a lyric of war domain.
No, honestly, I'm loving the Artificer idea. Just cannoneer Artificer. He creates a magical
Artillerist.
artillery on
Artillerist.
his back.
You
Then
just
he
want
becomes
to
Yeah,
destroy
and
Blastoise.
Yes.
we make the cannon shoot water for no reason in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, high speed flutter is pretty dangerous. So
I mean,
True.
and hey, it has two uses: crowd suppression and army mode.
Riot police.
I see he's now being assigned to
Oh,
the Warden's domain.
That turtle is coming for my job.
Yeah.
Now you have an incentive to work harder. Yay!
It's fine. First they can go for your sergeant's job, then they can go for you.
Hey, look, my job will be vacant in a few years, so don't worry about
I feel like it's physically impossible for Torrent to work any harder.
it.
yeah, I guess Blastoise would be interesting. Fun thing to see.
Have to see his stats to sort of suss out exactly.
Alternatively, you could always let the viewers decide.
Post below.
I mean, if we were going to
we
let
can think
anyone...
about it, I suppose.
I'm sure the viewers would have fun with it.
we can certainly take advice or not advice, suggestions.
It doesn't need to be decided now.
Yeah, advice assumes that we will choose all of them.
Yes, currently Lord Sheller does not cost an upkeep as a retainer while he's in training mode.
Honestly, if
That's nice.
anyone gets to pick what Lord Shell's class is from the players, from the viewers, it would be Danza. Let's be real now.
It's true.
Yes, sure. Danza post below.
Yeah,
what class
honestly. Or
for
just
Lord Shell?
add the Blood Bonds tag in our Discord and tell us.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Master of Strife.
Is that even taggable?
Danza Shell.
Should be.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Guess we'll find out. Yeah.
What's the speed on a tortoise?
Not
How
Not much.
fast is Lord Shell?
high.
Funny, I assume.
It's much higher if you
So-
haste them.
If
A lot
he
of
were
things
to
are a lot
become a
faster if you
monk,
haste.
Or if we...
if he were to become a monk, he'd eventually be faster than most
It's
people.
true.
Currently, Lord Shell's speed is fast for a tortoise at a grand 15 feet.
Okay, alright, that's...
Give him. Give him some-
If he was still tiny size, it would be 5 feet.
yeah.
If we can get the
Some
wood
wing boot
elves...
for him.
No, hear me out. Get the wood elves to train him. Someone's got to have mobile as a feat in that camp.
I think multiple of them actually have it.
Yeah, so if they can train the Lord Shell...
Tortoise
Into
training
being
camp,
mobile.
agility training.
Yeah, 100%.
Mobile and have levels of monk
Mobile levels in monk,
or barbarian.
or barbarian. He would, fastest
So-
tortoise alive.
It sounds like his Lux apprentice from Starter.
To
I mean,
start
yeah,
with,
he's-
yeah.
I mean, yeah, either route that luck could probably help there.
I mean, it's
All right,
pretty
look,
funny.
You need to
of the
train
scaled
this
fist.
tortoise to kung fu fight.
A monk of scaled fist. He's already got scaled fist.
I mean, I'm about to say, look at the spikes in the back.
Yeah, he's ready, man.
He can't be a monk. He's never unarmed.
Someone.
I mean, bite.
mentioned,
It can work on bite attacks. You know.
found a good pirate tortoise.
Yeah.
picture.
Good pirate.
I'm
Why,
ready.
we could make him a fighter, have him
Yes.
dual wield like spiked tower shields.
Oh my god.
So
Then
his
he would
back
just
is
be a-
spiked, and both of his hands are spiked.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
he'd
is-
just be a
spiked.
triangle of spiky plates.
I mean, that is Admiral Shell in that picture. I feel that's just.
Fighter gunslinger.
After he's grown some more.
Yeah,
Uh,
fighter gunslinger. Oh my.
He's not currently the best at speaking, though. He can hold a conversation. Just obviously he's not too used to having vocal cords yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's
No
a
addition.
good picture.
yeah.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
That's
That's what we
this is
need.
what we're thinking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right? She and me have the same idea.
I mean, the bottom one is definitely possible right now, but
Honestly, I reckon get Lord Shell and Persephone together. We can get a cannoneer.
I mean, if you
Tortoise.
told Persephone, hey, can you build a cannon for this tortoise?
She will
Yes.
be into that.
Honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, imagine it in a siege. They would never expect it.
No,
They would never
probably
expect it.
not.
And then
Well, what the
they'd
fuck
have
is
a
that
hole
and
in their
why?
wall.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, you'd have a siege engine that you wouldn't have to set up. It just walks
He
to the
just
battlefield.
walks there. Yeah.
Very slowly.
Just like a skull cannon blank fires into
Yes,
the
but-
enemy.
But the point is you don't need to have people spend like 10 minutes setting up siege engines. No, it just walks.
Right. So as so far the passage of time, how close are we to the coronation?
That is a wonderful point. The coronation is getting close to imminent.
Yeah.
In universe, you've got a couple of weeks left, like maybe 2 weeks,
Okay.
maybe 3. I have to double check the calendar, but something like that. You've got less than a month left on it, so
We need to blitz the spire, I feel.
the hold up right now is Makara's having to breach the upper level still.
We need to slay
Yeah.
the spire, as it were.
Yeah.
Kill the spire's heart. Sounds about right.
Well, we can work on rustling Reichel's Lord Reinhardt a bit, perhaps.
Yes. Over the coming sessions, you will want to, of course, make sure that your ground forces are in place, or possibly recruit more ground forces.
Yep.
Possibly we'll speak with Reichhold if you want to try that angle.
Oh, we have to get Shadow Shield on board as well.
If you don't speak with them, I mean, there's almost guaranteed they're going to be squashed by the Duchess.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to hold back.
Poor Raiko. I really get the short end of the stick.
I do.
Of course, you can also continue to do diplomatic affairs with Count Eisen and the Duchess if you so desire. You could also try to prep things down in Freyfrost, or to pursue something entirely different.
What we'll do, like the day after all of this, we'll talk to Eliza, give her the plan, and then we will move into the spire to sort of clean that up because that needs to be done.
But this is something we can cover next session.
Yeah.
All right.
So the Duchess will remain in your city for the next couple of days, however, so you will have opportunity to speak with her.
All right.
She will return back to her own realm, basically the end of the in-game week.
As long as she doesn't come for me for finding her out.
You can follow her around if you want to. She has her own entourage.
No, I mean, as long as she doesn't come for me for finding her out as a dragon. I know Amos didn't say who exactly, but not that hard.
Well, we'll get to that.
All right. Well.
It'll be fine, I'm sure.
Oh dear. All right. Well.
Oh god, where the hell did I put Lord Shell? I know I put Lord Shell. The noble quarters.
Obviously.
Yes.
I'm sure Marjorie Dore is happy of her new neighbor.
Put him next to the Count Izen in there, and he'll be drunk and over like hangover, and walk out and see a tortoise walk by. He's like, "Hey," I think he's walking into this room, and he'll be like, "Oh my god, I
need to quit drinking.
I need to go back to sleep immediately.
I need to quit drinking, and I've seen tortoises. Oh my god, that was the day that we made him sober."
In fairness, he knew about Lord Shell, so it wouldn't surprise him.
Oh, it's true.
Damn it. Oh, you know who we could really fuck with, though? We could really fuck with Raiden. I don't know why, but the idea really amuses me.
I feel like he would be perplexed by Lord Shell, yeah. Well, we can stew that over the next week. Or not next week.
The week after.
This is Midsummer's. Yes.
So it's going to be 2 weeks when we next play, I think?
Yes. Because we are gone.
Because Midsummer.
Yeah, because of Midsummer.
So, in theory, see you 1st of July, I think.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
One last thought I had. I really like the idea that Torin is basically still pretty new and still getting to know all the people, and now Sarah's like, hey, so I had called in a favor to have a circle of druids like awaken this tortoise, and he's our admiral now.
Actually, to be honest, Ceres didn't pull in the favor. The Duchess just liked the idea of a tortoise coming in and telling nobility what to do.
You started it, so blame.
It is your fault.
It is totally my fault.
Someone
but
had
I
to
didn't
abduct
call
the
in the
tortoise,
favor.
so...
The point is you got the dominoes falling.
I didn't do the one thing, but I did everything else.
I did everything else. I just didn't call in the favor. That's the
You're
important.
the starter and
Diplomat at his core.
And it's like that sequence of decisions and actions says more about Ceres than any biography could.
Side note, by the way, earlier you guys were mentioning because we mentioned the fact you don't technically have a royal chef.
Yeah, we need a royal chef.
Oh yeah.
Admiral more. I like the Admiral more.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lord Shell probably will never be strong enough to become a council member for you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cyrus will make it happen.
He might be able to become a retainer to a council member, and such become a captain, Captain Shell.
Oh yeah, Captain Shell.
But he probably won't get good enough to be Admiral Shell.
It's very tubular.
We call him like Michelangelo. It sounds better.
Leonardo Shell.
Leonardo Shell. Captain Leonardo Shell.
Mm-hmm.
Characters have to be kind of over a certain power level to be one of your council members. So.
Yeah, we might get copyrighted on YouTube, so I have to.
Oh damn.
I mean, what the give us a rogue and panache level, whatever it is.
Oh, Swashbuckler, yeah.
Yeah, Swashbuckler rogue.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Oh man.
I could teach him. I could teach him to be a rogue.
Oh yeah, you can train him to be a rogue. Now sneak, Lord Shell, sneak.
Maybe after getting access to the awaken spell, the next spell you need to get access to is a few wish spells to buff up that tortoise.
Yeah, just a few wish spells.
give him levels.
You find a ring of 3 wishes. I wish the tortoise to be stronger.
Ah.
I wish
Well,
the
there's
tortoise to be
limited
smarter.
wish,
I wish the
so-
tortoise to be faster.
It is the most awesome tortoise that's ever been on the land of ever. It's like super advanced divine tortoise.
Automatically just embed the ring of 3 wishes in the tortoise.
Heed these words, viewers. This tortoise will have a legend, and it starts now.
I mean, if you were using wish spell, you might just wish. I wish to, the tortoise to be a dragon turtle at that point.
Oh, dragon turtle.
Dragon turtle.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because they exist now.
They do. Yes, they're big sea monsters.
Yeah, then you have your own dragon
He
turtle.
can be the ship.
Yes.
Oh wow.
I mean,
Nautilus.
I did say that Lord Shell can get bigger.
Wow.
Does he ever stop getting bigger? Is the question.
No. Here, after the wish spell, this is what he will be.
The druids were like, "Well, you never said what size, so we just made him keep growing forever."
Try
Yeah,
invading our waters with that guy.
Yeah, there we go. Easy.
Oh, he's kind of cute.
With a beat.
Oh,
that's so
you wanted the
powerful.
tortoise to be smarter and bigger. So in a few years he'll be like this Cthulhian monster of unimaginable intellect.
I mean,
Yeah, he can take on the Avalith.
in my defense, I never said bigger. I
In
just said
ancient
smarter.
R'lyeh, Lord Shell.
You do,
writes
you
dreaming.
do, you do.
Look,
the possibilities.
Look, the Duchess interpreted your request.
The question is, Halldamir, are you happy with him getting bigger?
Absolutely, yeah.
Then there you go.
She interpreted your request correctly.
We need. I also have a suggestion for some statues around to commemorate Lord Tortoise.
No.
Where would you like to erect a statue to Lord Shell?
I mean,
At the harbor?
in the harbor.
Yeah, what about the idea in the harbour as you kind of come round the cliffs? There's just a giant statue of Lord Shell peering over the water.
That's right.
Great. We need to name the harbor after him.
Shell's
need some-
harbor.
No, we need. No, that's too on the face. We need
Too on
something
the
clever.
nose,
We'll think of it during the week.
Hmm.
Whatever, get that doc going.
Yeah, I can
Too many
barely-
problems.
I will say Lord Shell does think of himself currently as the most noble of tortoises you have in your service, and apparently you will quickly find does demand from the other nobles to be treated as one.
Wow, that's great.
Wow,
I mean,
he has
I'm
aspirations.
perfectly okay with that. I totally back it, 100%.
You know, if he shows competence, then
Yes, he needs to earn his place.
He will get
If
the
he shows
low
competence,
percent.
I'm after a knighthood for him.
oh, wow.
Sure.
I mean, he'll have to
Sure.
prove his worth to his liege lord then.
Yeah,
Oh,
you'll get
Get
there.
a 5
Good luck
from.
with that.
We can rule right columns to take that back.
I'd imagine like Sir Gillian and the turtle will get their like official title at the same time.
Poor
like-
Sir Gillian, he'd be like, what the
what
fuck?
the fuck? Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Oh, so many potential problems. I love it.
I will say, when I was originally populating the city, I never originally expected to make Lord Shell, but obviously Halldamir changed those plans.
Always the chaotic element. That's great.
Mhm.
Well, I live to serve.
All right.
I mean, you guys. I like it though. I like having someone who throws wrenches in the plan. So
That's great. It's.
I just didn't expect a tortoise-shaped wrench.
Oh, no, dragon
Jesus.
turtle.
That's the cavalier tortoise. on
Yeah,
the
that's a cavalier tortoise.
I'm trying to figure out if there's a good cleric domain that would also totally work.
It could be a warlock or the fathoms or something.
Yeah, like storm Terry, or what
Makes
was it?
sense.
Blood Hunter
Tempest
Turtle.
Hold on.
All right. Well, with all of that said, it is very late.
Yes.
Yes, the session is officially over. You may leave at any point, otherwise we will continue to ramble all night.
I am going to leave because I need to go to bed.
I'm tired too,
I
so
don't.
I will leave as well.
Catch you later,
Good
guys.
night.
Good night. Thanks for
Good
session.
night. Good night.
Take care.